Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show where, after the collision, we sift through
the wreckage.
He got me nice. That's a good one. The wreckage. It's just a quick one. There we go. No long one this time this week, but we are live on Hamid Media Group on the YouTube and on channelattitude.com after the fact. I am your host, Jimmy T. That is my co-host, the vet, Jamie Williams. And vet, it's been a busy weekend in the world of professional wrestling, shall we say, right? I mean, we had Money in the Bank, we had Forbidden Door the week before, and we had the collision of the ages, it seems.
Oh, don't forget NXT Heatwave tonight as we record this, Jimmy. Oh my goodness.
As a matter of fact, vet, you and I will be reviewing Heatwave this coming week, this coming Thursday morning, as a matter of fact. Is it this
Thursday
week?
Morning, what?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Oh, it's Thursday for you because of your
16-hour
difference or something.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought Ray was no? Okay. I don't even know
I think it's this week. I think he's taking off. I mean, he did text me.
That was the week after.
What's the date today? Oh, you know what? You're right, dude. It won't be me this week. Damn. It's the week. The 17th, actually. You're right.
You lucky bastard, Jimmy. Oh my god.
No, actually, I'm gonna watch that.
Don't watch it. Don't fucking watch it. Come on.
Are we gonna get Moose?
No.
You still think we're not gonna get Moose?
No.
Yeah, you're probably right. I don't want. See, that's the thing, man. They're hyping this shit up a bit. You know what I mean? Like with Moose and who's the North American champion again in NXT?
Obafemi.
That's it, Obafemi. Them two have been talking shit on the Twitter. You know, Moose has been saying, you know, I'll talk to my boss, you talk to your boss, basically. Let's get this shit done. But you're probably right. It's probably all for nothing, though, right?
Yeah, these guys are trying to book their own angle. It ain't gonna fly. They still need permission. So I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I'm hoping for something. It would be a cool scenario to see Moose pop up in WWE. That's for sure, man. But I'm not going to set myself up for disappointment. You're probably right. I'll go into it thinking that he won't appear, but I'm hoping deep down that he will. Man. Jesus. I mean, Money in the Bank.
Tell the people the truth, Jimmy. What happened to you?
No, I fell asleep. I legitimately, well, put it this way. I did the Smack Attack that morning, my time, at like, and it ended at like 4:30 in the morning, my time. If I went to sleep then, I would have fallen, you know, I wouldn't have woken up to watch Money in the Bank because it starts at 10 a.m. my time, as in the actual pay-per-view. So I thought I'd stay up, you know what I mean, tough it out. And unfortunately, watching Money in the Bank actually put me to sleep, which sucks because was the show, I don't know, man. I was kind of bored at first, bro. I'm not going to lie. And then I slept. Now, that could be just me, but, you know, I don't know. But gauging by what the listeners and other fans and whatnot have been saying, some people were shitting on the show too, to be fair.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I didn't watch it. So, I mean, it's a miracle that I even get Collision in before we do the show every week. Like, I certainly don't have time to fit in another PLE, you know, on top of that. There's no chance. I just have to look at the results just so I kind of know, and that's about all I can do.
Well, Canada Spaceman says that, okay, so I'm not alone. Most of Money in the Bank definitely was mostly boring for me anyways. And Cold Blooded also says Money in the Bank was the most predictable show ever except the Cena thing. Actually, that's a good segue. Let's talk about Cena, shall we? Apparently, he's announced his retirement on Money in the Bank, and I guess his last match will be this coming WrestleMania in Las Vegas. Do you believe he's going to be gone once and for all, or is this just a money thing? You know, get your tickets because we're going to bump him up as high as possible for this coming WrestleMania because it's Cena's last ever match in WWE, apparently.
Both.
Yeah.
I think he genuinely plans to retire, but he also knows that he can go out getting making a few extra 100,000 or a couple million for the company before he does, and for himself. So, I mean, why not? Why not do it? This is the kind of the Bryan Danielson route, announce your future retirement date, and
I
then
know.
that way you can just like work up to it and then step away. It's pretty good to do it that way because you can kind of like call your own shots in between that time, because how are they going to say no? And then you could do as much or as little as you want. So if you have any bucket list items or anything you need to take care of, and get that out of the way. Work with who you want. Just get the last bit out of your system. It's probably different knowing that you have an end date in mind, and this should make it easier to step away. So
Yeah, I
but
wonder if it
but
will get to him.
I would also just say that John Cena's already been semi-retired for a while now. So
That's
this
true.
is probably more than anything just to let the fans
Prepare.
not to get their hopes up for future appearances in the ring.
Yeah, I find it interesting because, wrestlers generally don't announce their retirements, really, when you think about it. I mean, do you remember times where wrestlers are saying, okay, this is when I'm retiring. I'm going to be wrestling for one more year and I'm done next year. Usually they just disappear, off with into the sunset. But it seems like, Bryan Danielson, which is seen as former brother-in-law, funny enough. Wait, did they get married? They didn't. But they were going to be brother-in-laws, I guess. So they didn't get married.
Let's retire to the cigar room after dinner.
Maybe. But look, man, whatever the case, I'm sure we'll see him again anyway, whenever that is. But I guess congratulations to John Cena because he's had one hell of a career, let's be honest. I mean, he really has. But would you put him in, is he one of the... Would you put him top 4, say, in professional wrestling or in WWE particularly, not in all of wrestling, just top 4 in WWE specifically, or top 5 even?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely, because, here's why. Because John Cena had a longer run than anybody else, right?
True.
Other than San Martino, John Cena had and by the way, just for context, back when San Martino did it, it wasn't, obviously the landscape was not the same. There was no such thing as pay-per-view back then. There was barely even TV,
Right.
So
It's true.
so like, yeah, so him selling out the Garden all those times, was like, that was a big deal because it wasn't,
no advertising,
but also there
really.
wasn't as much other stuff to do. Now Cena had his run in the internet era, so you had lots of people that could have just been like doing anything else but watching wrestling, and he had a good long run on top there. It was at least twice as long as any other person's run, more than Hogan's run. Let's think about it. If you want to count Hulkamania from '84, then he probably had like at most. Hulk Hogan had on top, he at most had like an 8-year run. Austin, 8 years. And that's
If
only
that with
from
Austin.
That's from like Austin had like a 7-year run.
Yeah, I think it was 7 years, dude.
And he wasn't even on top for all those 7 years.
No, not at all.
Yeah, he had like a 5-year run on top,
I think it was even a three year run at top when you think about it. When it comes to Stone Cold, even The Rock, it wasn't that long, bro.
Yeah, the Rock's run. They both came in '96, and they both were gone by 0203. So like the first time, I mean, The Rock's come back several times, but 6-year run. Let's say The Rock had a 6-year run on top. Unquestioned on top. But that wasn't even, again, all 6 years. He was on top from like '98. So like it took Austin and Rock 2 years to like get to the top, and then they had like five on top after that. And then John Cena was on top from about 06 all the way till 2016, 17, whatever, like whenever it was they retired, like originally.
Yes, about 6. Well, yes, 16 really, 17 max, but I'm pretty sure you're right, around the 16 mark. He was coming back and forth between 16 and 18, and then he disappeared for a long time from 18 to, I mean, did we see him in 2019? Really? I don't think we did. 2020, I think he came back. Oh, no. That was the pandemic run, too.
Right. That era, that doesn't really count, but, I mean, he still was already kind of gone before then. Or certainly wasn't concerned about being the top guy at that point anymore.
Oh, no, definitely not.
So, for the longevity, you could say that, but even more than that, like, the John Cena meme. You know, there's people that know of John Cena, the kids these days that didn't even watch wrestling or whatever, but they know of him from memes. The You Can't See Me memes, or
it's true,
you know,
man.
the prank call, that famous prank call meme, or like, you know, there's so many things that just that generation doesn't even know anything about wrestling. They just know John Cena. Then you have all the people that know John Cena from movies and TV. You know, like he's definitely had a cultural impact, certainly more than Steve Austin did outside of wrestling. Like nobody gives a shit about Steve Austin outside of wrestling.
What did Austin do outside of wrestling, really, when you think about it? Not much.
Yeah, it's nothing. He tried to have a movie career, and then it just wasn't, you know, for whatever reason, it went south pretty quickly. And
it did.
Yeah, and meanwhile, guys like Cena and Batista like start small, and now they're really getting bigger roles and stuff. So
absolutely,
you know, and The Rock was pretty huge. He started small and got huger too. So like, you know, those guys had that. I would say for all those reasons, you could easily argue that John Cena's top 4.
Yeah, no, you got to give him his flowers.
You could argue
man.
he's top 1. Like when Michael Cole says he's the greatest of all time, most people roll their eyes, but like in a certain way, he kind of is. Like you just have to make the certain arguments, you know, depending on what your qualifications are. But you could certainly make the case that as a wrestling figure, yes, you know,
he's arguably number 1. Arguably, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it all depends on your generation too. Like, you know, you and I might not think that, you know, as fans, say, right? But like you said, if you want to be truthful and if you want to really break it down, you can make the argument that Cena, you know, can very well be the guy, the number 1 guy that WWE has ever had, only because of longevity. And not just because he was on top, right? Like for that long, but, you know, even through injuries throughout the years, he bounced back from that shit pretty fast, man, when you think about it, compared to your Stone Colds, compared to your Rocks and whatnot. Like, he was just a machine, plus the amount of work that he did, you know, with the Make-A-Wish Foundation is absolutely unrivaled. There is nobody in professional wrestling history that has done the work outside of the ring like Cena has. And whether, you know, you might think of him as fake and whatnot, it doesn't matter. He still does it, and he does it because he wants to. You know what I mean? And he does that stuff worldwide, man. You know what I mean? I mean, absolutely worldwide. And, you know, that's something that no one, not now, not in the future, not ever, I don't think, will ever match what he's done in terms of outside the ring. And when I say that, I'm talking about, you know, charities and whatnot, because he's just a workaholic, dude.
Yeah, that's to say, that's not to say that nobody else could have done it, but he was the guy, and
right.
Yeah, he was the guy, and so, you know, he did what was he did everything that was asked of him and more. So if we're just talking about like and like the question, you know, no offense, I don't mean this as a slight to you, but like the question of like top of all time, it's like, well, who cares? Like, what kind of bullshit question is
That's
that?
true.
but if we are caring about it just for the sake of answering it,
he's for the sake of answering it, right?
He could easily easily a Mount Rushmore of WWE, or you could say of all of wrestling too, if you want, just because, you know, he kind of like he had to sort of get the ball with the exit of Rock and Austin.
True.
So
he was like, the guy after that, 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
And it could have been Randy Orton, but he was a fuck up. It could have been Batista, but he just, for whatever reason, I mean, he was kind of always there, but like,
He was always opposite Cena though. When you think about it, man, they purposely would put him opposite of each other,
yeah,
which is really the right move.
yeah, and I don't think Batista really wanted to do all that stuff because, admittedly, like self-admittedly, he says like he's a shy person or whatever. So it's like I'm sure he didn't want to be out there doing all the stuff that John Cena did. Um, John Cena's just a different kind of cat. So, uh,
Plus, it takes a lot of heart to do that, man. Because knowing me, if I was in Cena's position, I don't know if I could do all those make-a-wishes like he would. And that's not because I don't want to. That's more because it'll just depress me, man. Just seeing that. Do you know what I mean? It takes a tough character to do what he does, man. For real. Like, and that's why I'll always take my hat off to him and have respect.
and then there's also the Undertaker, but I would say like he's just so iconic that he was there during that entire Cena run too. He was there long before it. He was there like, yeah, he was there like
3 generations
years
bro.
Before the run, and
Absolutely.
yeah, and he was there for like years after the run too. Like the Undertaker had the whole John Cena run, so you got to put him in that conversation also.
Oh, absolutely. That's not even an argument. he's
but he's
definitely
like,
right up there.
But the Undertaker's by far the longevity king. Like nobody's
By
had a run
far,
like that,
bro.
ever.
Dude,
Ever.
he went through 4 generations of wrestlers. Think
Right.
about that. 4 different generations of eras and different wrestlers that have come in and gone. That's something else, dude.
Right. As Gam says, he was in Hulk's run. That's how far he goes back. So
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly. Right. Spot on.
But the difference, I guess, between him and Cena is because of the Undertaker's gimmick, he necessarily kept himself out of a lot of that other stuff that Cena was doing, like outside the ring. Not that he never did any appearances or things, but you know what I mean. Like
It was very rare, though.
it's just a different deal, and he's mostly only known for wrestling, whereas Cena branched out to a lot of other things afterwards. So,
I mean, what did Undertaker... I mean, I've listened to his podcast, for example, a few times, and he says it himself, man. He couldn't do what Cena does and all that. He just wants to chill, you know what I mean? Like, especially now with retirement, he's just like, I've done all that. It almost feels surreal. But the only thing that annoys me, and look, it's not really, it's cool. He's retired. He's doing whatever he wants to do. But going for so long without breaking kayfabe to now just shattering the kayfabe. Just there's no kayfabe with him anymore. I mean, the shit he says now is kind of like eye-opening. But then again, you can't kayfabe it for the rest of your life, right? He's retired. He's done. I guess it's okay for him to talk and say whatever he feels like it. But that's the only thing, like going for so long, not doing that to just completely doing whatever now. Even on Chris Van Fleet's show he was on this past week also. So he's doing a lot of podcast runs, put it that way.
mm-hmm. Sonic also pointing out HBK in the longevity run.
Absolutely, but you got to remember there was a lot of times, a lot of periods where he wasn't around. But when he wasn't around and when he came back, it was kind of perfect timing where you think he was around the whole time. If that makes sense.
And as the unquestioned, like as the ball carrier for the company, that was like less than 2 years.
True. No, you're right. Like, absolutely.
So even though he's been around a long time and he's done so much contribution, but then he didn't have that like super long top guy run, I guess. But I mean,
nah, he was transitional all the time. It felt like, dude. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but but try to imagine over the past 30 years. Try to imagine that without Shawn Michaels. It's kind of difficult. So
no, you can't. That's true, man. But when you really break down,
good point on that. Good point on Taker. Like there's lots of people that you could look at as like a WWE Mount Rushmore. But ultimately,
and it has nothing to do with talent. It's just in terms of what they've done for the company. I'm talking more so than anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, but anyway, what else? What else is going on in the world?
Well,
Money in the Bank.
Right, Money in the Bank. Like I said, we
won't be talking about anybody in Money in the Bank in these terms.
No, hell no. Come on. Now you're making me laugh, vet. But who knows? Maybe in the future some of these guys might be somewhere, but I doubt it. But in saying that,
Tiffany Stratton will be on the Mount Rushmore of WWE women.
I agree with that. She's that good, dude. And
shut up, Jimmy. I'm not fucking kidding.
I'm being serious, dude. I think if she continues her, no, really, think about
Tiffany
it.
Stratton, really.
Tiffany Stratton, dude. She's that good. Seriously. She got trained by Greg Gagne, which is the son of Vern Gagne. I mean, which is true. Yeah, dude. You didn't know that?
No. When?
Well,
really?
there you go. Yeah.
I didn't know she was ever trained. I thought she was walking the performance center and just.
No. She was trained by Greg Gagne, man. Like, no shit. I think that's why she's so good, man. And if you look into it, she's a bit of a pain in the butt too for him. Don't get me wrong. I can see that. Apparently she's very competitive. I've read a few articles about it. So she wasn't made by just WWE. She's literally, she's got a bit of a pedigree coming into WWE. And that's why I think she was...
Could have fooled me.
You asshole. You think she's still not that crash yet?
We are talking about Tiffany Stratton, right?
Tiffany Stratton, bro.
The gymnast, the daddy's girl,
that one.
You black bitch, the fake titties, like that, all that. The girl that does moonsaults and smashes people in the face with her knees. That one.
Yes, that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't know that. Interesting. Well, anyway, she is your Miss Money in the Bank, which was pretty obvious. I went with her. I'm sure you probably expected her to win also. I mean, clearly you're not the biggest fan of hers, but what do you make of her win?
I was just saying we're not going to be talking about her in Undertaker terms 20 years from now. That's what I'm saying.
I'm talking about on the women's side. I wouldn't be surprised if she's looked at in the future as one of the best ever, man. Honestly. I could be way off, but...
There it goes. The hot take of the day. I won't be able to come up with a hotter take than that the entire show.
That's true, if you know what I mean.
Tiffany Stratton, just start carving out the space on the mountain now for her. Like, you don't want to put somebody else in that spot right yet because Tiffany Stratton's already on her way.
I'm not saying she
moonsault her way onto the mountain.
But if she sticks to it and doesn't fuck around, look, she's still young, obviously. But if she just, takes it serious, doesn't cause any trouble... Absolutely, I can see her possibly being looked at as one of the best female wrestlers to ever walk into WWE. Possibly. But that's many years down the road. So, I'm doing a hot take right now, but we won't know till many, many years in the future. So, time will tell, man.
Zane Vicious said, Trash Stratus didn't start out great either. I don't know if that was a typo or if that was a dig.
Wow.
But
guess
what?
That's not a typo.
Guess what, Zane? She didn't end up great either.
Do you think she's been overrated? Like, when I say overrated, let me put that sort of differently. Like, overrated in terms of what the fans, look at Trish Stratus. Because a lot of people will make her, will say she's the best female wrestler of all time, period.
Again, are we looking at it like in John Cena terms? Like,
we're not looking at it in ring work because if we're talking in ring, come on now, she's not the best ever.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, she did so much. She did so much for women's wrestling, and she did her best with what was going on at the time. Like, and with all the McMahon allegations now, God knows what she had to put up with. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, you could put her in that. I don't think she's overrated in that category. I don't think that.
That's
I
good.
do think people do overrate her as a wrestler, but like, what did she have to work with back then? Not
she had a lot of crap to actually work
right.
with.
And the people like, there was better people in the ring, but I mean,
there was a few.
For a former fitness model that just decided to try wrestling, like, yeah, she did well and ended up being very well thought of and remembered, and she's still around. She was on Money in the Bank last night.
She hosted the show,
talking to her.
Yeah,
so she was there, and she even had a recent run. Her and Becky in a cage was a good match. Like,
that was actually a lot better than I was expecting. Put it that way.
In some ways, old, busted, yoga
Yeah.
face mask Trish was the best Trish. You know, like in
Yeah,
some ways she's better than she's ever been.
Argument. You can make that argument, definitely. She was very good. I think, look, you can say she's also underrated in some ways because, like you said, coming from, like, she was just a bikini model, a swimsuit model or whatever, coming from Toronto, Canada, did not know a lick of wrestling at all. I think she picked it up relatively pretty fast. And, you know, for her to, you know, put herself, you know, in the conversation, I think took a lot of work. And it just shows how quick she adjusted, and just even the people's thoughts changed big time. I mean, people always say Trish leader. Really, for me, and I'm not going to add the Japanese women because the Japanese women are on a different level, right? When it comes to in ring, strictly from a Westerner type of, you know, wrestler, you know, you got to say Alundra Blaze is probably the best of all time, especially in the US. When you think about it, dude, I mean, Alundra Blaze was so good, man. Like, she went all over the world, did so much, you know, in terms of pro wrestling. And even as Medusa, either way, her as Alundra Blaze to Medusa, she was a star, dude, when you think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of people you could name that's in that category, but not really at the time when Trish was there. So
no, that's true.
She
that's
did her
also
best
true,
what she
man.
had.
That's true. But anyway, we're talking Money in the Bank, and we're saying like Tiffy time. I predicted that. Were you going into it thinking that she was going to win? Were you surprised on that?
No, I didn't think about it one bit. I didn't. I didn't spend 1 second of my life thinking about who was going to win the women's Money in the Bank.
Well, it's Tiffy's time apparently, and she's the winner there. The men's one was also very predictable. And even what happened after this. But anyway, Drew McIntyre gets your men's Money in the Bank. Now, call me an idiot. I don't know. No, actually, not me. Call him an idiot. But why would you cash it in to make it a three-way and not wait till the end of the match, really?
I don't know.
Isn't that dumb? I mean, to me, it comes across as dumb. You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess. I don't... Obviously, it's not real, so...
Well, that's true too.
Am I supposed to answer your question as if this is a kayfabe situation, or am I supposed
to? Yes. Yeah, you got to answer it like it's a kayfabe situation. Remember?
Oh well, you see, Jimmy, you know, everybody was on an equal playing field because Drew had gone through the ladder match, and these guys had gone through a grueling 15 minutes.
So you put yourself in another match after going through a grueling fucking match?
Maybe he just got tired of waiting. You know, he spent so long waiting for his time, and he's like, I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to make everybody wait. I'm not going to hold this briefcase for a year like Damian Priest. I'm going to cash this in minutes later, and I'm going to get that belt, and nobody can stop me, especially not these two bums. Seth Rollins coming back. He's still he's not even 100% probably. And Damian Priest is just some guy in a group with eyeliner on. He's not tough. I can take them both. But he didn't. And he also thought, and I don't have to worry about Punk because I beat the shit out of him weeks ago, so he's dead still. So I'm safe. That's what he thought.
Well, Punk was the party pooper for Drew McIntyre. He totally ruined his night, as he always does at this point. That's kind of was also predictable. And, you know, adding Seth Rollins also now to this mix. And I guess we're back on that road between all three of these guys absolutely despising each other, which I'm not mad about. I'm looking forward to this. I mean, to me, the Drew Punk stuff is actually more entertaining than even the Seth Punk stuff was, in a way. Right. I think these two are gelling so well, and it's actually quite exciting, that little feud with what's going on there. I mean, I'm hyped. Are you, though, Vet? I know you're not going to be hyped, but you know what I mean.
I mean, as hyped as I could get for anything else, but you know, but the good thing about it is that it actually tied into the story the way they did it, because
that's
now
absolutely
this will now explain why Seth Rollins doesn't get any more title shots, because he had to win that match. That was the bet they made. Right. So now he has to. I guess he has to honor that bet. I don't know if they put those little side gentlemen's bets into writing in this new Endeavor company, but you know, I guess technically he doesn't have to honor that, but he said he would, so maybe he will. So that gets rid of him. And then, like Sonic said, the real reason, that's the actual reason. He said, they had to get the briefcase out of the way so that, we weren't crying all year about when's he going to cash it in, right?
Well, yeah, that's true.
Let's just stop thinking about the money in the bank briefcase. Let's just get this out of the way. It's bullshit anyway. The whole money in the bank idea is bullshit.
It's bullshit.
It's dumb. Why would any of the wrestlers agree to this? Like, who thinks this is a good idea? What if Real Sports had something like this? Like, what if a UFC fighter had money in the bank, and then it's like after a 5-round decision, you just go in there fresh and beat the shit out of somebody?
No, that's bullshit. There'll be lawsuits if that shit happened, really, when you think about it.
Right. But then again, no, there wouldn't, because if you were a UFC employee, you'd have to agree to that stipulation. So,
okay, all right. You know what? Could you see them actually trying something like that maybe in the future?
Well, maybe one of those Russian federations, but not like UFC or
dude,
anything.
Those Russian feds, have you noticed they're like some sort of money laundering fucking companies, man? They start up and then they're gone after like 2 weeks, and then a new one will start up, and then it's gone, and then another one, and then another one. Like, it's kind of weird the way shit runs in Russia. It just seems highly illegal, if you know what I mean. Speaking of Russia and MMA and whatnot, have you seen the full street fighting? You know what ultras are, by the way, Vet? You don't know what ultras are? Ultras are your hooligans in soccer, right? You know, your lighting flare type of guys. Anyway, in Russia, they set up these tournaments, dude. They're like bare knuckle tournaments, real fights. And it's against all these ultras. All the ultras fight each other from all over Europe, right? Dude, it's brutal shit, man. My friend showed me this shit. I haven't been able to find it since. It's somewhere on YouTube. But I'm not going to lie. It was kind of interesting. But it just sounds stupid, though. You know what I mean? At the same time. But that's Russia. Russia does some weird shit.
Yeah. Well, as CM Punk said in the press conference, no comment.
No comment indeed. So that was the main things for Money in the Bank. Also, we had a few other matches. Let's see the results from those, because, well, I'm pretty sure Bailey would have retained the championship, right? I mean, surely.
Bailey?
Well, no, she didn't have a championship match. Wait, I thought she did, dude. Or something. They were building up to something. Like on SmackDown, but she probably didn't. You're probably right. It probably was. I'm just looking at the results. I need to get to the damn results.
Well, Jimmy's looking up the results. What did you guys think about Money in the Bank? And is there anything that you liked, didn't like, would have done different?
It was pretty predictable, man.
Kayfabe-wise.
Oh, Sami Zayn actually going over Bron Breakker. I forgot to mention. Do you agree with that? I was kind of. I went actually.
Did you see that one? Did you wake up for that one, or?
No, I didn't. But I know who won. But
I don't know. I would have to see the match in context just to know.
Well, what I was going to ask you is, I was going with Bron Breakker personally, because I just think Sami Zayn as IC champion is just so ice cold right now. I don't know, man. But he didn't end up winning, and I'm talking about Breakker. Sami Zayn ends up retaining. I don't know if I feel, I felt like right now Bron Breakker had a bit of momentum coming into this pay-per-view. And if they pulled the trigger with him winning, I feel like, he would have been elevated even higher. Right now, even with Sami Zayn retaining, what does it do for him? Absolutely nothing. And can I ask you something? Me and John were having a little argument about this on the Smack Attack yesterday. I just want to know your thoughts by some chance.
I got to mediate.
I've got a feeling you'll probably agree with what John has to say. But
okay,
what is your take on Sami Zayn? I know we've probably spoken about this last year, but that was last year, right? So I can't remember word for word what we said. Mm-hmm. But how do you feel about Sami Zayn and his run, say, last year when he was red hot at one stage and they didn't pull the trigger with him, compared to right now and him being IC champion? Do you think they should have given him a little run? Like, when I say little run, I'm talking about no more than even a 2-week run as champion. Or did they do the right thing and just let him fizz out?
no, they did the right thing, but then they didn't pay it off correctly. See,
True.
Sami Zayn was there when he had that thing with the bloodline, which first of all,
Right.
they pulled the trigger on him going out of the bloodline way too early. They still had like at
True.
least a good 12 months. Maybe, oh, let me rephrase that. Maybe they didn't have 12 months worth of material, but a good creative team could have got 12 months worth of material out of that.
Easily.
So we didn't even get, we had to watch him try to get accepted by the bloodline. And then we barely got to see him in the bloodline. So we didn't get to enjoy the fruits of his labor and see the slow turn or whatever. But the whole thing of Sami Zayn versus Roman, he was supposed to lose so that the fans' hearts would be broken, so that they would want Cody to beat Roman even more. But then they had Roman beat Cody. So they fucked it up.
See
they
what
killed
I mean?
Sami
And that's
Zayn.
my point. Yeah,
It was like a sacrifice for no reason. That's like a you sacrifice for
what
yourself
was
for
it?
somebody.
Right.
Yeah, and
What
then the person
for?
that you sacrifice yourself for dies too. Like, oh shit. Well, maybe I should have just tried to stay alive longer then.
See what it doesn't make sense. That's why I would have gone with Sammy and have a little. If you know, if they knew what they were going to do,
never go with Sammy to have a little run until the time is right. If there's a time that's unquestioned, and that wasn't it, because basically what they did with him and Walter at WrestleMania this year, that should have been a bigger moment for later. Like, for example,
but that
if
was for
you
nothing
had
too.
let me put this out there. Okay, so you had that whole thing where he had like the Rocky training and all this bullshit, and Chad Gable helping him and all this, right? He gets to the WrestleMania match and you really feel like they're going to do it. Like, I'm sure a lot of people figure Sami Zayn was going to win that based on the booking, right? Well, then you should have just beat him anyway. Like,
True.
Just leave him laying, like, damn, even after all that, Sami couldn't get the job done. And then but then obviously it looks like Walter's a lock to win that World Heavyweight Championship later this year, right? Like, it seems like that's like the obvious choice, right? Give him that run, right?
You think.
Okay. Right. Now, if you want to give Sammy a run, that's the guy you have to do it. You have to give him against the guy that he already beat him once for a lesser belt, and now he has to go against him for a bigger belt. And everybody assumes that Sami Zayn's not going to get it done, but that is going to be a bigger moment for Sammy now because he's lost.
That's a
once,
WrestleMania moment.
He wins the belt, he gets retribution. Everybody's happy for a little while. You can give him a shorter run as you want, but Sami Zayn's character is the guy that doesn't win the big one. That's the whole character. That's what he's always been since NXT. It's what he's supposed to be, and every time they get close or whatever, like this, they had this thing with the Intercontinental title. I didn't like it. And but that being said, in those situations where you have like a young lion versus the old lion,
yeah,
I always root for the old lion. I don't know how anybody else thinks, but I love the story, the story, right? Doesn't matter whether it's in written stories, movies, whatever, songs, even whatever.
It always works, dude.
I love the story of it's still too early for you, kid.
Right.
I love that because that's how people grow. When you give somebody too much too soon, they already did that to Braun Breaker. They Roman Reigns him in NXT. He was supposed to be a babyface.
That's
and
true.
They had him kill
Fucking
everybody
true,
and get
man.
the belt.
Yep.
And then the people started booing him because it was boring and predictable, and they could tell he was the chosen one. Then they had randomly Dolph Ziggler beat him for some reason. And before you say anything, Sonic, it doesn't matter if it's Dolph Ziggler. It could have been anyone in that spot. You wouldn't have him lose right there, right? Like why beat the kid, like that? So they've already gone through this with him in NXT of too much too soon. And if you put the belt on him, any belt, you run the risk of Roman Reignsing him again, but not the good Roman Reigns that everybody wants, but the suffering succotash Jack and the Beanstalk Roman Reigns.
That's still cringe, dude. I'll never forget that, man. Even watching it live, I was like, he's dead. But he bounced back, obviously. I agree with you 100%. And one more question about that with Sami Zayn also. John was saying, look at him. He looks like a bum. He's a goof. You can't have him representing your company. But then I brought up the Mick Foley fucking, comparison. I mean, look at Mick Foley. He didn't look fucking champion material, but Jesus.
Literal sweatpants.
Right. Literally. And I didn't even say that. But he was, like you said, literally he was wearing sweatpants. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Does that really, do you think that would have mattered? I think the fans would have been right behind Sammy if he did win the championship, however way he would have won it. I'm just saying hypothetically, if he did win it, even the way you said, if he won it that way, I think everyone would have been right behind him because people love someone that's like them, that they can relate to, right? I mean, I feel like his looks don't really matter at this point. If he's, if he was that, so let me rephrase that. His looks don't matter when you were so over the way he was last year. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. It's just the thing that about Sami Zayn is, like, unfortunately, I don't know how aware the average wrestling fan is of this, but unfortunately, guys that do not partake in the use of anabolic steroids, when you eat right and train hard, you kind of just end up looking like Sami Zayn if you're not on steroids, okay?
It's fucking true. Preach,
I don't think it's not that Sami Zayn is not an athlete.
No.
I mean, he's not going to be a super jacked guy like Braun, but let's face it, Braun's not doing that all natural, okay? So no offense,
yes,
but that's just how it is. So, but more guys would look like Sami Zayn than not, based on genetics or whatever. So, I mean, like, he's in shape, and it just because it doesn't look like what people considered a wrestler because of Vince McMahon's homoerotic fixation with bodybuilding, like that has now become what's the normal accepted wrestler body,
right,
or the expected wrestler body. So he doesn't fit into that, but he makes up for it in other areas. Like, he's not particularly short. He is a good athlete. He can talk his ass off, and
Absolutely.
He sells like a mother. So it's like he's got a lot of other tools, just so he's not like, 255 pounds shredded doesn't mean that he has no value. And I do prefer like a trimmed up, cleaner Sami Zayn.
Yeah, he didn't look bad like that. He actually did not look bad at all like that. I agree. I mean, his scruffy look really started during that conspiracy sort of run, wasn't it? That's when he started looking the way he looks now. But that went nowhere in the end, I guess. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, happy birthday, Hey Bot. Apparently it's your birthday, so, going by the chat. So I don't know how old you're turning, but happy birthday, dude.
Yeah, happy birthday to Hate Bot, even though you're just a bot, and, we're talking about your... What your program date is? That when when someone made your account?
He's a dog bot.
But I was going to say to Todd Brantley, welcome to Todd Brantley, the Comment King.
Oh, yes.
I want to touch on a couple of his comments. He said, fans don't care or remember Braun's NXT run. They're prisoners of the moment. I'm not worried about the fans remembering. I'm just saying, if the WWE doesn't pay attention to what they did to him back then they're going to repeat that mistake, and we don't want that. I'm not saying that because it'll happen to new fans, whether they remember or not. They'll get sick of him right away. Right now, they're kind of enjoying him, but that will go away quickly if the fans feel like the company has selected the guy. They will turn on him. If the fans feel like they chose the guy, they will love him. And one of the reasons that they love Sammy is because he never felt like the chosen guy. So they always root for him because he's the underdog in kayfabe and as a shoot. So that's the reason why. If you push Braun too hard too early, they will turn on him because they will smells like a chosen one. Smells like a chosen one. This guy right here, the Steiner's kid, like they'll sniff it out. And the other thing he said, if they kept the IC title on Gunther, fans would have complained he had the title too long. But I'm saying in my scenario, in the scenario I would have had, he would have just gave that belt up and won the World Heavyweight title. Or he could have won the World Heavyweight title, holding the Intercontinental title, and said to Adam Pearce, like, I don't need this anymore. Here, you take it. Nobody could beat me for this, so find somebody else. You know, like that's
the easiest
ultimate
way to
heel
do it.
type
Right.
move. Like, it's that heel that you're like, oh, that's arrogant, but he's got a point. You know, like that.
Yeah, he's
That's
good.
the kind
you
of
know what I
heel
mean?
that he is, you know. So that's what I would have done there. It's not like I would have just had him keep the belt forever. I would have put him in the world heavyweight title picture and immediately dismissed the belt. What do I know? I'm just some guy on a podcast with another guy that doesn't exist from a country that's not real. So
I'm just total AI. I'm programmed to say what I'm saying. So I'm with you. Hey, bot. I'm a bot too. Anyway,
Jimmy Bot.
Jimmy Bot. That's it. He does say, thanks, guys. I was programmed in 86 before the internet. Wow. You're an old whippersnapper just like us now.
Well, Al
hey,
Gore
bot.
was thinking of you even back then.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, I just wanted to get your thoughts, and you hit the nail on the head, man. You put those little bits where sometimes even I forget to say and mention, and you did it for me. So thank you.
As everyone says, that's why I'm the vet.
That's why you're the vet. I was gonna just say that too. That's why he is the vet. And dude, like I said, I've tooted your horn a million times, but you do bring a different insight compared to all of us, because you were a worker, you were in the business, and you know how this shit works. Even when we all think we know how it works, you take it to a whole different level. But in saying that, it wasn't a relatively long show. I think that pretty much covers the matches, dude. That was it. There was only 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there's the last one. The Bloodline defeating Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens in a 6-man tag match. And people, I've noticed on the internet that Jacob Fatu is trending. And well, yeah, exactly. But he's trending. But do you know why he's trending, Vet? I don't know if you've noticed. Because he pulled a whisper in the wind. And people are shocked about it. If people don't know who he is, and it clearly seems like they don't, he was doing that sort of shit long before WWE. That's what made him so unique. Because he was a lot bigger too, while still doing some of those flippy shit, you know what I mean? And he does it so well, dude. And people are just going bananas and crazy. The whole IWC is going crazy because he did a whisper in the wind.
Oh, so they're going crazy because they didn't think he could do that, or because
I guess I thought
Jeff
everyone
Hardy
knew
should
who
be
he
upset,
was.
or like what? What?
No, I'm assuming everyone knew who he was, but they'd never seen him do a move like that ever,
well,
even though they knew him.
Isn't that what I was saying? Everybody's pretending they knew
You
who
hit the
Jacob
nail.
Fatu was.
You hit the nail on the head once again, Vet. There you go. That's why I'm bringing it up, man.
We talked about that last week. I was saying I'm glad he finally debuted, so everybody can stop saying, when's Jacob Fatu gonna debut? Because I just read that he exists, and now I want to know when he's gonna debut, and I'm gonna pretend like I always knew who he was when I've never watched 1 minute of MLW in my life. I'm glad that's over now, and now this proves my point exactly. If people are actually surprised that he could do this, then that just goes to show you they're a bunch of fake Jacob Fatu fans or knowers, whatever.
Fatus. They're the Fatus. I don't know what you want to call his fan base, but like Hatebot says, Fatu got zero reaction from that crowd, and that should tell you, how clearly in Canada, apparently he got no reaction. I doubt. Look, you're probably exaggerating.
I guess there was no internet fans in the crowd then. Nobody in that crowd was on the internet. They were all in the crowd.
Toronto. Yeah, like Zane said, what's MLW? I don't know. Micro League Wrestling, maybe?
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Is that what it is?
It's an Eric Bischoff and Jason Hervey project that got picked up.
Well, see, at least G-Ball's being honest. Never heard of him until the other night. There you go.
Yeah, well, G-Ball, we're not talking about G-Ball. I mean, he just happens to be on the internet. But the people that actually actively participate in online discourse, there's a point to that. They're all pretending oh yeah, man, just wait till Jacob Fatu shows up. Well, motherfucker, you never seen Jacob Fatu in your life. What do you mean wait till he shows up? You wouldn't know him if he did show up.
Oh man. And we're getting everyone coming out out of the woodwork. Even Spaceman says, I never knew who Fatu was until HMG podcast /chat started talking about him. They all look the same
You know what-
anyway.
Well, the casual racism for Canada Spaceman always.
I know. I didn't see that.
The best moment, like the moment Jacob Fatu is over with me for life. Like I don't care what he does, he's over with me for life because of that time back in MLW when like they stretchered that guy out, like they got the stretcher in the ring to stretch him out, and like while they were carrying him out, like they were gonna carry him out, he moonsaulted him while he was still in the stretcher.
I saw that. I've actually seen that. He's a beast. He's always been known to do those type of moves, man. It just amazes me that people now are getting shocked at what he does. And yeah, like Zane says, Contra Unit, that's exactly the stable he was with back in MLW. He was champion there for a long time too also. And, he was only one of probably two, I heard, that was actually under a long-term contract with MLW at one stage. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, Court Bauer knew what type of talent he had. It was just because of his past bullshit. He's known to have a bit of trouble with the police and whatnot. You know what I mean? I guess that's
today's top wrestlers came from MLW and Lucha Underground. Like those, like
true. Right now,
all those
absolutely.
guys are like signed to big money deals now.
It's
Anybody
crazy,
that was worth
especially
a damn anyway.
Lucha Underground, especially, man, have produced. I mean, a lot of today's rosters, man. When you really think about it.
And that reminds me, Jimmy, because the last time we were talking about Collision, you were like, "Who's that guy that came out? Who's that huge guy that came out with Swerve Strickland?" Because I want to know who that is. You know who that was?
I found out. I saw
that
it.
Was EJ and Duca.
I couldn't believe it when I saw that. I was like, "Fuck."
Yeah, I quit watching MLW before he showed up. So, but I've heard of him. And so
I've heard of him too. I was shocked, and I was going to say that. I forgot about it, man. But when I saw him, I'm like, oh, really? But I only saw him for a split sort of second. But I didn't recognize him, dude, for real. And then when I read that, I'm like, what? Really? He's huge, bro. Like I was saying, right? But it's still, I rest my case. He should have not come out with him, period. Like, you know what I mean? In my opinion.
That was probably a Swerve call.
Well, then he's a dummy, bro. Straight up. But anyway, speaking of Swerve, that covers pretty much all the wrestling news and whatnot and all the... Actually, I want to ask you, should we talk a little bit about Forbidden Door, Vet, before we do get into the collision and sifting through it?
What do you want to talk
about? Wow, that's a good question. It was pretty predictable.
It was my favorite show of all time.
Of course it was.
That's on my Mount Rushmore of shows.
Actually,
all right, let's move on.
Forget that. Forget that. What I wanted to ask you though was what happened on Dynamite with Britt Baker and Money, and everybody telling Banks or Money, whatever you want to say, to shut the fuck up. I'm not gonna lie, but that fucking got me smiling, and I don't feel bad for Money because I mean this girl's even throwing her husband under the friggin' car and under the bus. With did you see her interview that she had this past week? She had I can't remember what show it was, but she was talking. I think it was on Hot 97 even, dude. Possibly. Oh. Yeah, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was. She's basically saying that there was one Money in the Bank where she came out in green and blue. I'm pretty sure you'd remember this. Remember when she used to wear green and blue? Her actual attire. You'll know it when you see it, but anyway.
Where is this going? What is the point?
Well, she basically said that... Can you just
get to the point where you want to shit on her like everybody else does? Go ahead. Just say whatever it is.
I'm not shitting on her, but the thing is, like, okay, fuck it. I'll get to the point. The point is, I like her as a talent. Don't get me wrong, right? But she comes across as the most narcissistic, egotistical bitch in wrestling. And I mean that even in real life. I don't even think that's a gimmick. Even when she's trying to be a babyface, she just comes across, she oozes heel. You know what I mean? Even when she's trying not to be. I just think she's a cow. Like, you know what I mean? I think she's a kind of a person, bro. Like, in real life. I don't know. I've never met her, so I could be way off. But going by what I see, she could be working me for all I know. She just comes across as a cunt. And, like, shout-outs to Sonic the Hedge Rat with the comment of the night yesterday on on Smack Attack by saying what CEO stands for. I won't say it again. But she's very narcissistic. Am I wrong in saying that, Vet? Or is she working me?
She's only been one way.
Well,
So everybody else kind of ascribes these things to her. Oh, is she a heel? Oh, is she a babyface? Oh, is she this? Is she that? Like that's all the stuff that the fans have said, and she's really only been the same way ever since she was in NXT, right? I don't know what she was like before that, but it
I
certainly
loved her in
wasn't on
NXT,
television.
bro. Yeah.
And as far as like what she's really like, I mean, she kind of comes across this way, but then again, you know, it's kind of refreshing to see somebody that you're not sure what they're really like, you know? I mean, I
Well,
don't
that's
know.
why I'm wondering, like, is she totally working all of us? She could be an absolute sweetheart, man. But when you throw your husband under the bus for doing shit attire for you, I mean, that's a little bit, little harsh. But Britt Baker, I mean, those fans turned in a heartbeat, dude. Everyone was behind Britt Baker. Everyone was telling, Monet to shut the fuck up. It was kind of interesting to see, put it that way for me anyway.
So Britt Baker, the person that is, it's like a sort of an open secret that she's run people out of that company.
Yeah, right.
Didn't agree
That's
with
another
her
one,
and
right.
her thing. It's like,
she's an AEW original though, Vet. So
but Monet's the heel,
you can't say
right?
that, right? Well,
just
saying,
about.
she's an AEW original. This is when the AEW marketers like la 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 la. I don't hear you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But if that's true, yeah, she's another fucking, she's right up there too, DMD.
Right. So yeah, I don't know, but I mean, I don't know. Let's just leave it at this. I've been a fan of Mercedes. I'm still a fan of Mercedes. She hasn't done anything to change my mind. So whatever you guys want to say. But one thing, let me clear one thing up for everybody out there that's wondering or questioning. The character's a heel. She's been a heel. She's never a babyface. The only difference is if people decide to cheer for her or not. But she's always been a heel and she's never changed. So that's, if anybody's wondering and they like to ask those those rhetorical questions, because I know some people are confused about it. I know Cornette and Last are very confused about whether she's a babyface or a heel. But I'll just clear that up for everybody. She's a heel. End of story.
She's a heel. There we go. No, and I agree with you. She really is a heel. That's why I'm asking. Is she working me, or is this what, is that her? I have no idea, but I'm still a fan of hers. Let's not get it twisted. But it did give me a little smile that everyone told her to shut up.
Hey, the only thing I know about her, and it's just a secondhand story. The only thing I know about her in real life was just that I think it was when Becky got punched by Nia Jax.
Right.
Yeah. I believe she said that Mercedes was there in the hospital, like to check on her. So if she outed her as a real life babyface by saying that, then maybe.
Did you get told from another worker by any chance? I'm not going to say who told you, but no. Okay,
that was in her book.
Oh, okay, interesting. I haven't read her book, so I don't know that, but okay, that's interesting. Well, they were 4 horsewomen. They were supposed to be all close, right? So that makes sense.
Right.
Is it book good, actually?
Yeah, you know what? This is a good time. In case you guys haven't got a copy of Not Your Average Girl by Rebecca Quinn, get that at bookstores everywhere and Amazon.com.
I've read that one, but I don't remember that particular part for some reason properly. Maybe I need to go through it again.
People remember what they want when it's convenient to narratives.
No, I'm not like that. Come on, Van. Come on now. I'm not like that. It was a long book, dude. Let's be real now. It went for quite a while. But anyway, that was that. So, Vet, I think it's time. We've gone an hour talking all that. I think, we should put our gloves on. Because on paper, Vet, I'm not going to lie. This looked like a strong show, dude. Like, on paper. But I'm left bitterly pissed. That's all I'm saying. And there's still quite a bit of wreckage to sift through. Anyways, I'm just a little disappointed. And you probably can figure out why I'm disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, fuck Hangman, Butterfly, basically. Anyway,
No, now it's
let's
glittery
get into it.
fire.
Oh, you got a new theme song too, huh? I just clicked on that like yesterday. It's even worse than his previous one.
Mm.
I'm just
All right.
saying. I'm just putting it out there.
Well, before we get to all that, we got to start with a package on MJF and Garcia. This is basically catching you up on the
Oh
end of
God.
Dynamite. If you didn't see
Yeah.
that, it looks like you have some thoughts on that. So
I'm
let's.
confused, bro. So we're gonna pretend this fucking Adam Cole thing never happened now? Like, that's it. Like, that's
Well, he
it. So
already
now
took out
MJF is
Adam
a heel.
Cole, so
Yeah. Okay, whatever.
was he
It's
supposed to
lazy.
go to his house and beat him up now? I mean, I
Well,
don't mind.
If Swerve did it to Hangman, then yeah, go
Right.
to his house. No,
Yeah.
but seriously,
And
I just
Adam
think
Cole's the size of a baby, so
yeah, hey, he could be in the cot, dude.
Cold
You know
Blood
what I
said
mean?
Hangman's new theme is Trash Stratus.
Cold blooded. Yeah, there's a comment of the night so far. That is even, that's awesome.
Right. So,
But
we'll say that's a tag team comment because it's off. He got the tag off of Zane Vicious earlier,
Yeah.
but so yeah, so they give you this package to catch everybody up. In case you didn't see it, MJF turned on Daniel Garcia, and my favorite part of this whole thing, obviously, you know what this is when he's got like when MJF has Daniel Garcia up on the turnbuckle like he's going to give him a tombstone pile driver off the top rope or the second rope, I mean. And then
Right.
Chris Danielson runs out there just to like get in his
Chris
way
Danielson.
and beg him not to do it. Like
Please.
you realize you're an active wrestler, Chris, and you know that you could have just like
Get your hands dirty,
wrapped
man.
your arms. You could have wrapped your arms around MJF's legs to literally stop him from jumping off the thing, but instead you ran all the way out there just to plead with him and then watched him do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's just dumb shit. Again, that's why. Why can't professional wrestling companies understand just the little things? It's just little things, man.
I don't know. I don't know.
They're simple. They're simple. It's just simple. I know it's bullshit. I know it's a work, right? But that's what I mean. Why do we even give a fuck? Why do I even think that? We shouldn't even probably think that way. It's a fucking work. It's bullshit. I don't even know why we even ponder that. But still,
Well, I
if
mean,
you're gonna simulate,
you could take this apart. You could take this apart going back as far or as short as you want. Like you could say, you know, what if Daniel Garcia had accepted the ring from MJF in that match and used it and won the match? Then what? What if he did? Like did MJF just on the spur of the moment decide, yeah, I'm just gonna turn on this guy? Like I don't know. None of this shit makes sense. They just do stuff they've seen before, and it's just not really. I don't know if there's always like a long-term plan that they're thinking of. I mean, they may have the long-term plan, but
there isn't.
I don't know if they think about like how it's going to look when you look back at the whole thing.
I was gonna spray. I was about to take a sip, and then you said that, and I thought I better not, because I don't think they do. They just don't. They don't. I just. That's the only conclusion I can come up with. They just don't think. They don't care, and they just think we just do little. Like they're just lazy, dude. They're honestly they're lazy. Like with the MJF stuff, it's like he came back, bang. Like we're just gonna end shit right then and there type of deal. Like there was no like build to it. And Undisputed Kingdom, someone said it was TM Cooper. This is a good question. Josh says in the chat, is AEW crazy enough to have MJF join the Undisputed Kingdom? I swear I wouldn't put it past them.
Oh my God! MJF, if you have any creative control, you better say that doesn't work for me, brother.
I'm telling you, man, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
I would not put it past them, dude.
Don't you do it. Shut that down. And that's the point I was about to make is that MJF has, you know, I put some of the blame on him because he does have some say in what he does, as he should.
He does.
And he should be shutting a lot of this stuff down, or just punching it up, like when they give him an idea. And if this is his idea of a punch up, then maybe he's just trying to make lemonade. I don't know, but it just I'm not that into the way they did the turn on Daniel Garcia. Also, minus points for still trying to make me care about Daniel Garcia in 2024. Like, you're still doing that. I thought we gave up on that. He hasn't been in the main event for a while, so I thought you got the message, but now you're putting him in there with a main event player, which makes me think you're trying to put Daniel Garcia in the main event again, and I told you about that, and apparently you're not listening. But anyway, MJF comes out to do his promo. As he was advertised, he would start Collision. That's a weird thing to advertise. MJF's going to start Collision. Like, what, you wouldn't think he would get any retribution or punishment for what he did, especially from Christopher Daniels. Like, hey, you tombstoned a guy in Christopher Daniels' face. Maybe he wants to suspend you or something. Nah, we don't.
They're not there, bro. They're not. They don't turn up on Saturdays.
Yeah, it's different. Like, he has Brandon Cutler for that. So, so anyway, yeah, he comes out. He does his promo. He shows the clip of the time that he tried to turn babyface by telling stories about himself, which I also was against.
Yeah, the Jew boy.
Did that.
And it's the same old story about him being called Jew boy.
Mm-hmm. Right. And yeah, we didn't need to get that specific, Jimmy, but thank you anyway.
Well,
and
that's
then,
what he said.
And you said it. And I did like the fact that maybe there was something about John Cena in the air, because he said that Daniel Garcia is a Make-A-Wish kid at best, which I'll agree with that. That's a good line.
Yes, that's a good line.
But yeah, but then, yeah, like he cut the typical, I'm turning heel, it's all the fans' fault promo. Like, I'm tired of this promo.
Lazy, bro.
Everybody ever cuts this promo. They all say the same thing. You never supported me, even though clearly everybody was supporting him. But
he was doing the Rock.
He just has to say that because there's no other original way to turn a guy heel who's always just a heel that I don't know. I feel like I could do a whole show on just this, but my brain immediately goes to a place where it's like, just stop talking. It's too late. There's nothing you can do about it, which in a nutshell is one of the reasons why I just walked away from wrestling altogether as a participant, because I knew everything was going to be like pulling teeth. Everybody's an idiot. Nobody listens. They're not interested in ideas unless it's their ideas. I don't have the patience for this. And this is the reasons why, because how am I supposed to convince these people that, you know, how to do things differently? This is just what they're programmed in their brain to do. Like, if I turn heel, I must cut the promo how the fans didn't support me. Like, there's no other options. And it's MJF we're talking about, not just some random person. MJF is supposed to be one of the best at this.
And think about it, Vet. Let's go back to the 80s for a moment. Did we ever get those type of promos when guys turned heel? Never. No, really. Think about it. Never, dude. Not even with Hogan, even when he turned, the NWO 96 Bash at the Beach. He wasn't like, really about the fans and all that, like, per se. I mean, he did mention the fans. You can stick it. But he wasn't doing the full MJF, I blame yous because yous didn't cheer me the last time. You know what I mean? All that bullshit. Yous didn't care even though they were cheering him, which is even more stupid. At least with Hogan, they weren't cheering him by that point. You know what I mean? Like, for real. They were sick to death of him. So he could say that. MJF, on the other hand, was over like Rover in AEW. And it makes me think, is he really that intellectually smart and switched on about professional wrestling? Or maybe we just fucking think, we overrated his mindset when it comes to pro wrestling, because he likes to, do a lot of things old school, if you know what I mean.
I don't know if he's overrated, but he's a kid. So, like,
but that's it. Exactly right. He's still learning, man.
What do you expect?
It's just the way he portrays himself, though. Like, I know, like a historian, he almost makes himself seem like he's an historian in all of wrestling. That's my perception of him anyway. He may
be advanced for some people his age, but I mean, at the end of the day, he's still like and really, who's out there to, like, who's giving him the education as he goes? Like, he's that's the problem. He's younger than most of the people that he's already ahead of. So how is he supposed to get better?
True.
Eventually, if you're in this pool of mediocrity, it's going to drag you down into the quicksand. It's not like you're going to lift everybody else out of the quicksand. They're going to drag you down.
100%. Facts.
So when he came back, he should have already been this. We shouldn't have even had the tease of him being, you know, a baby face.
Yeah, I know. Just should have just come back exactly what he's doing right now. But instead, they love playing it up, man.
Right. And you know, I don't know. Let's just move on because we're gonna go too long. Okay, let's go to a real promo. Mark Briscoe. Okay, this is how you do a promo, MJF. Okay,
take a babyface promo too, mind you.
Yeah, take notes, motherfucker. This is how you do it. Mark Briscoe is quickly becoming the highlight. It's almost if somebody like 1 month ago discovered Mark Briscoe could do promos.
I'm telling you.
Never mind the past 20 years. Somebody finally paid attention a month ago. So now we get a Mark Briscoe promo, which it's not just like that he's getting it, but they're actually making the focus of it like even Kyle O'Reilly's like,
yeah, hey, he was laughing, dude.
Yeah, let him just. Why are you giving the mic to me? Or Orange Cassidy's like, just do it, Renee. And then she points the mic at him. Like they're calling attention to the fact that it's Mark Briscoe promo time. And so everybody get out your notepad and then take your notepad and throw it away because it's not like you'd be able to emulate this in a million years if you tried. This is Mark Briscoe.
Dude, he hit it at the park, bro, like 100%. And you're right. I'm telling you, they just discovered that he was able to cut promos. I'm telling you now, dude.
Get your ass out of here, Jack Perry.
Yeah, I love that. But honestly, dude, now he's actually getting a push, legitly. Like, it feels like he's kind of getting, pushed compared to his first 2 years. I mean, this is completely different now. And I'm telling you, someone discovered that he could cut promos, or someone saw him literally talking shit in the back, probably cutting a promo with the boys, and everyone was laughing, and they're like, damn it, we need to get this shit on TV. And that's what happened, dude. I'm telling you, you're not wrong.
How many years ago was I saying, like, I would have the Briscoes come in and be like my brand ambassador for everything? Like, if I was the WWE, I would have hired them. I would have had them sell all my merch. I would have had them, like, sponsoring, like, you remember when, like, the New Day or Enzo and Cass would do, like, the, like the Sonic spots or the
I do remember
other, like, food spots, like I would have them.
Those
do
KFC
that.
as well.
Yeah, KFC, like all that stuff. I would have had the Briscoes doing that. I would have had them do all the appearances.
I
would have had all this merchandise made up. I would have been like Briscoes, and that was years ago. I would have done that. But as long as we're getting a little bit of it now, then that's good. And then we're getting, I guess, this new weird. There's a lot of random trios. This one's a pretty good one. It's Briscoe, O'Reilly, and Orange Cassidy. Okay, so they're called, I guess the conglomeration is going to be their
I hate that name, bro.
The unofficial official nickname.
It's a stupid name because it's too long for people to even A, remember, and B, pronounce it.
But the reason it works is because it's Mark Briscoe saying the conglomeration.
I know, but
that's
it's
why they
still
do it.
Too much. It's too
probably
much of a big word.
Well, speaking of too much, their opponents are the Iron Savages here. And I remember when they showed, I was watching I threw a Rampage on, and they were billboarding this match saying, like, it's going to be the conglomeration versus Iron Savages. Like, oh my God, is that going to be the main event? Is Jimmy going to have to watch another six-man tag for a main event? But then I was like, oh no, wait, it's Iron Savages. They would never do that. There's no way they would make a main event. So, okay, it won't be a main event. But anyway, it is what it is. The Kingdom, the Undisputed Kingdom, is out there at ringside. Roderick Strong's on commentary. So it's kind of just like, it looks like this conglomeration and the Undisputed Kingdom are on first of all, they're still having a battle for they're trying to get Kyle O'Reilly to come over to their side. So that's a story going on if anybody cares.
Pretty lazy the way they're doing that also, in my opinion.
What else are you going to do with these guys? They're lucky to even get on TV, in my opinion.
Dude, Shivani even got friggin' Taven wrong. He was saying that it was Bennett that was talking, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I mean, it's Matt Taven." And even Roderick Strong was going with it too, man. So it shows how much they give a fuck. I mean, and where's Wardlow? Vet, what's going on with Wardlow? So he's done now again. We're gonna just
be done again.
He doesn't exist anymore. He's
Yeah,
just
I don't have an answer for you. Is he Australian? Is that why? Is he secretly
could
Australian?
be. He could
Is
be.
he working us
he-
for all this time, like doing an
No.
American accent?
I think he's well, who knows? But I personally think he's probably saying a lot of shit in the back, possibly, which I don't blame him. If I was him, I would be speaking up, and maybe he's getting kicked to the curb again because there's no other reason to be doing this to the guy. I mean, surely, if you can't see that he's got something, then you're an idiot. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man.
There's
but
too many guys. There's too many guys that have something, and they're getting in the way of these guys that have nothing, like Daniel Garcia.
That's what I'm
Jack
saying,
Perry,
dude.
even
Hell,
Iron
why?
Savages. Like, you can't have these guys around if you're gonna have Wardlow around. So.
Well, then just
Speaking
fucking
of
release
which-
him already.
Speaking of which, that and we don't really need to recap the match because you know what happened here. The conglomeration beat the shit out of them all. And then,
Yeah.
but then we do get Jack Perry, and I was thinking like, get your ass out of here. But anyway, he did a promo, which it was like in the reflection of the TNT title belt, very artistic, very M Night
Oh.
Shyamalan, shooting a whole thing in a reflection. So very amazing production. Unfortunately, it was just so happened to be Jack Perry, so automatically
Amazing production.
nobody cares. I don't know. Somebody's got to care. Does Anna J care? Is she watching this? Like, that's my man.
Maybe.
Like, I don't know,
Full on like. I don't have a clue, man. But you know what did crack me up? I did think of you actually during this promo because I knew you would say something like that because that's what AEW is trying to portray with this promo, like it's some bourgeois hanky-panky production, when really, as he's talking to the reflection of his championship, right, you could he's going all weird, like, he's going up, down, like, do you know what I mean, like a reflection.
he's like
And to
pacing
me-
around. It seems like
Whatever he was doing, to me, it wasn't that crash, it wasn't that artistic to me. And cool, look, it was a decent promo, I guess. But whatever. I mean,
But
it's
it's Jack Perry.
Jungle Boy, right? Oh yeah, Jack Perry, exactly. That's the problem.
all right. Well, then we get a highlight package of Swerve and Ospreay from Forbidden Door, I guess their match there, and then
Yeah.
we get Lexi backstage. She's with Hangman, and
God.
he's basically says, without saying it, he doesn't name names, but judging by the fact that the Swerve package preceded this, and the fact that he's only had one meaningful relationship in his whole life, and that's with Swerve Strickland, that he's in the Owen to get back to Swerve because that's his one-way ticket back to the title if he wins this tournament. So that's why he's there. And Lexi brings up the fact that he's never beaten Jay White, and then he storms off. So.
Yeah, and you know what? About this promo, at first I'm thinking, why is he doing Jake the Snake? It felt very Jake the Snake-ish type of promo, if you understand what I mean. He wasn't screaming. He was just
But he was also
methodical,
making
kind of
the
silent.
crazy face.
Other than that,
Which
forget
Jake
his
didn't
face.
really do that.
Yeah, no. Jake never did that. Forget that part. It's just his cadence. It reminded me of Jake the Snake. But no way. He doesn't know how to do facials. Then he went all 80s coked up fucking pro wrestler, promo for whatever reason. And then he
Well, he's
just stormed
turning
off.
into-
And I was just like, okay.
You know what he's doing, Jimmy? He's turning
Is,
into
is he going cray-cray?
dark.
Dark Hangman
You know.
Page. Actually, they might call him the Dark Horse, bro. Hangman Adam Page. Yeah, it's got a ring to it. Can have some sort of dark theme with the cowboy in the background.
Yeah,
You for
I mean,
sure.
we didn't have anybody else really dark on this. I mean, there was a House of Black promo later, but we'll get to
Oh
that.
god, that's an insult too, man. That promo insulted me, and not because of House of Black. It's just because of AEW.
Hmm.
And I'll get to that when we get to there and why I
Let's
feel
get
that
to
way.
that. First, on the way to that, we get Tony Storm versus Trish Adora. This went through a break.
Probably the longest match, maybe.
Yeah, it seemed pretty damn
As a
long.
matter of fact, it
Uh,
was.
and in the midpoint of the match, Tony Storm grabbed the microphone and started
That was
asking the
funny.
audience for ovations, like standing ovations.
That was during a commercial break, so
Yeah.
a lot of our listeners probably didn't actually hear that, but please tell them more. That was cool. That was the best thing about this match for me, anyway.
Right. So there was that, but it's not like this was in any doubt. We knew he was going to win. So that happened, and then nothing else happened. And then Willow Nightingale and Mariah May have a little package now because they're, I guess, in the finals for the women's Owen. So there you go. And then the Patriarchy is back there, and they cut a promo, and or Christian mostly does. Everybody else just stands there. And then some guy comes in, and he gets beat up. Who was that guy?
It was Kip Sabian. Even I was second guessing. Yeah. No shit, dude. I'm looking at him like, who the fuck is that at first? And then I'm like, I think that's Kip Sabian. And then I wanted to hear his voice properly if he had the British accent, right? And he did. But I still wasn't 100% convinced because with that mustache, suddenly he looks completely different. And I think he's got more tattoos too, which was odd. But yeah, Kip Sabian. I mean, where's he been? He's just trash at this point. Obviously, that's how they treated him. But we couldn't get a view of Luchasaurus or whatever you want to call him beat up Kip Sabian. But
or the bad
it kind of made me giggle. No, because the sound effects actually made me laugh. Really, I started laughing.
Yeah,
so yeah, he got beat
tells
up.
The dinosaur to handle business off screen, I guess. So
yeah, and also he told Christian that his father just passed away and he needs a father figure in his life.
Kip Sabian said that?
Kip Sabian said that, dude. That's why he got beat up. No shit.
He should have known not to say that to Christian.
Well, that's what he said, hoping to be part of the patriarchy, apparently, it seems.
Well, okay.
That's what happened. That's all I'm saying.
I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad you paid attention because I've missed all that.
For some reason, I did, and I usually wouldn't at this point.
I really said, I really have my notes. Some guy gets beat up. I didn't know who that was. I couldn't tell.
Oh, thank God I'm here then now. I mean, I'm here to save the day. I paid attention this time, actually. You know me. Good. It's hard to pay attention with this show.
Yeah, especially this. We're talking about Jack Perry again because he's about to come out. And what is this? Is he defending his TNT title? Because
yeah,
I know Aaron Schlomo's really happy about this.
Oh, he can't wait for us to talk about this.
Right, because his mystery opponent is none other than Marco Stunt. So
I laugh.
So Jack Perry found the one guy with a less impressive stature than himself. So that he could feel big.
My God. Boy, and he looked big. I'm not going to lie. He actually looked huge compared to Marco Stunt, and that's how small.
But it's an optical illusion. Trust me.
It is really an optical illusion for sure, but fucking hell, really?
Yeah, when Marco Stunt's in the ring with Riho, he looks small, so...
Yeah, I think Rio's taller, actually.
Yeah, she's definitely bigger than him. But yeah. And Jack Perry's another one of these guys that has like a running knee as a finisher.
Yeah, I don't like that. There's too many. I mean, we've got Danielson, for example, doing it. He's doing it. I don't know. Everyone's doing it. This is wrestling 2024. There's no sacrilege when it comes to your finisher anymore, dude. If someone wants to take it, they're taking it, regardless. No one protects the business anymore, or themselves, for that matter, Vet. No one's protecting themselves, like literally.
Nah.
Joke.
Why bother?
I guess.
Oh yeah, and speaking of running knees, like you were right about because you were mentioning Sheeta being fat, and I was like, yeah, I didn't see it, but then I saw it, and she's kind of fat. It's a little out of
shape.
She
fucking put on weight, dude. She really did, but I forgot about that. But thank you.
A little fat. She's just a few sauna sessions. She could sweat that out.
Yeah, right. She's not fat. She's just put on weight a lot more than usual, going by her. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then we get that promo from the House of Black, the buddyless promo, because remember he got that leg injury so he could walk the aisle.
That's it, exactly. That's why they did that, man. I said it was a work all the
Rhea Ripley's like, ow my arm, and he's like, ow my leg. Let's
She
get
was
married.
not injured. I told you that, man, back then. I promise you when I say this, dude, she was never injured. I'll put money on it. She never had a sling. She wasn't like hiding the fact that her arm looked fine on social media. I am telling you right now, she was never injured. I said it then, and I'll say it again now. The only difference is, I said back then she might have got homesick and wanted to come back home for a little bit, hence the injury angle. Or I guess she got married, and that's what happened. She got married. That's why they wrote her off. Believe me when I tell you that, dude.
Well, damn shame. I mean, she had to do all that. Like, couldn't she have just kept the title and said, by the way, as champion, I've earned myself a vacation. See you guys later. Damien, watch the clubhouse.
I
Like,
wouldn't
why
be
do you
mad
need
at
to
that.
fake an injury if that's the case? You know, like,
That's WWE for sure. They're not going to give her the Roman Reigns treatment where he can just disappear as champion for 5 months and it's all good. I know.
It
Well,
doesn't have to be 5 months. You don't get a 5-month.
I'm joking. I'm exaggerating, man. Come on.
Well, whatever it is, like, just a weekend. Just give her a weekend.
Well, she's been gone now for what, 2 months? 3 months, maybe?
I don't. It's not like I'm counting. Anyway, the promo from House of Black. You said it offended you.
Oh, yeah. It's not their promo per se that offended me. They did what they always do, right? They do their promos and one. It's the commentators right after it that just takes it away from me. Like, suddenly you hear Shivani, oh, that was the House of Black, ladies and gentlemen. That's that. Like, it's like this. Let's just discard it. Let's not talk about nothing. Like, let's not even fucking like put it over. It was just simple as that was that was the House of Black, ladies and gentlemen, and then that's it.
Well, that's Tony Schiavone in a nutshell, isn't it?
I guess, but it's just that really annoys me. I mean, why even bother then doing that? Like, fuck it. You know, these type of promos should either end the show maybe, or even start a show. Don't even have it in the middle where no one gives a fuck like that. You know what I mean? To me, it makes no sense, but I don't know. That's just me. Maybe I'm nitpicking.
No, it's not just you. That's just
good.
one of many things that happen so often that we generally don't even bother to bring it up. But like, if we really, if we went and did like if we pulled up Collision and we did like a point by point watch along, do you realize how long that would take to get through a 2-hour Collision? It would probably take us 5 hours because we would have to pause and talk about every fucking stupid thing they did on a even like a good episode of Collision. We'd still have to like nitpick every little thing. It would take forever to get through it. We just
you know what?
We don't have that kind of time, so we just gloss over a lot of this stuff.
That's true, and you just get used to it where you just gloss over it, like you said. And for whatever reason, tonight, last night, I paid attention. I don't know why. I just did. It was little things that I was paying attention to.
Somebody has to.
And Zane Vicious saying, you're becoming an American, Jimmy T. Oh, God. We had this conversation actually last week, Vet, off the air, kind of, about Australians and Americans. But anyway, funny you say that.
Right.
Anyway, no, Homeboy, I'm not going to do... And for the record, I just want to say something quickly about Homeboy. Homeboy, for the last time, I'm going to say it once so you hear it instead of me writing it. I never blocked you on a HMG. That might be someone else that might have. Not me, though. I'm just saying. I'm putting it out there. Because it could easily be Ray.
But...
Oh, can't you? So he's blocked. Then why can't I see him?
But, I mean, you could see him, so...
That's strange. Okay. Well, someone else did it. I don't know how to unblock you, dude. Sorry. I don't know what's... It wasn't Vet, that's for sure, because he doesn't have control of this. You know what I mean? So it's definitely not the Vet. I think it could be Ray,
I certainly didn't block you on my own YouTube account. Like...
If there was any suspects, it's got to be Ray. Talk to Ray about it, man, not me.
Oh,
but,
yeah, that makes sense. All right.
100%.
Well, anyway, so we get highlights of Pac and Brian from Dynamite. I guess it was a good match. I was really just
I didn't watch it,
so I didn't notice.
Yeah. I knew Pac was going to lose, which is dumb because Pac was fresh. Danielson was, playing up his hurt again, as per usual.
Well, here's the deal. At this point, doesn't Daniel Bryan have to win the Owen Cup?
Feels like it.
Because
who else are you going to go with?
You are not.
Hangman?
Yeah, you are not putting Hangman versus Swerve as the main event of All In. You're not doing that. I guarantee you're not.
Whoa, wait a minute.
You would
now
never do
that.
that.
You mentioned it, You're probably right. They probably will do that, actually. Absolutely. That's
No, they
storytelling 101. Oh,
No, they won't. There's no way.
I'm telling you.
There's absolutely
You know what?
no
They
way.
will. They're going to do it, bro.
100% they will not.
And if they do, well, he's going to go off.
No, they will not do that. I'll tell you why they won't. And you guys think, I know what you guys are all thinking. You're all thinking the same thing all the other marks think. Tony Khan's an idiot, so of course they'll do it because AEW, you know, like,
but
I know you're all thinking that.
Right.
But
well.
on that same note, if you believe that, then would you not also believe that you're going to gift Bryan Danielson the main event of your biggest show so that he can go out on his retirement saying he main evented like a show with, you know, this record crowd or whatever bullshit they're going to lie and say that they had or whatever. But like, you're going to not give Bryan Danielson the big main event against Swerve, the match that we haven't really seen, or we're going to get Hangman versus Swerve for the however manyth time.
I'm sorry.
You tell me.
Well, could they go three-way possibly? There's some sort of shenanigans that happens.
No.
In the
Aaron said you give TK a lot of credit. Do I, or am I just saying? Well, you guys say he gives everybody everything and pays everybody too much. So why wouldn't a mark say, as a thank you, Bryan Danielson, you can be in the main event of All In Wembley. Like, why do you think?
Look,
what does he owe? What does he owe Hangman Page? Hangman Page is the reason Punk isn't there. Why would he give Hangman Page?
True.
Don't tell me he's not still mad about that. You know.
He's mad. Trust me, he's still mad. And you're right. Absolutely, he should be punishing the shit out of Hangman Adam Page. Look, man, hopefully he doesn't do that because I don't want to see it. I just don't want to see it anymore. Not for another year at least. And if that, I still don't want to see it. But come on, you got to be realistic here. You know that. No, look, they'll go with Danielson because do they really want someone to shit on the, because, you know, he's a heel, right? Technically, I suppose. So, you know, he could throw down the friggin' Owen Hart trophy, whatever the fuck it is. You know, I don't think Martha Hart would be too pleased with something like that happening, you know, like storyline wise. So the best bet is Danielson to win. But Danielson, though, storyline wise, has been going through a lot of grueling matchups, right? He's playing up the injuries and whatnot.
Yeah, that's why that's why he puts Swerve over it All In. But I'm just saying he
right,
gets
no,
there,
absolutely.
and I'm sure he wants to work with Swerve, and I'm sure Swerve wants, you know, he wants Swerve to have a big ass main event match, you know, and that's the best match that Swerve can have at this current time. So I think it would be the match that would be the most pleasing to everybody that would go to buy a ticket to that show. I don't think a lot of people would care to see Hangman Page and Swerve again if that's like supposed to be this big show. I mean, am I wrong?
You're not wrong or right, though, because either way, I can see him going that way. I hope they don't either, man. But I don't know, man. I'm not sure anymore, dude. I'm just not sure anymore, Vet. I can see him doing that.
If Cold-Blooded says, if Danielson doesn't win the title in his last match, what are we doing here? We're doing the right thing. You go out putting somebody else over and making somebody else. That's tradition. That's what Danielson would do. That's what Danielson would want. I'm not saying he's greedy and like, give me the main event of All In. I'm saying I think Tony would want him to have that as a send-off, the same way Sting would have that as like a, you know, like he got to have his end date or whatever.
True, that's Sting though. But you're right. But Todd brings up an interesting thing because you can't rule this out what Todd says though also. And Todd says, unless Nigel interferes and costs him the match to set up Nigel versus Danielson at All In. I can see that also, dude. You know it.
So
I know it.
He's
in
on
shape.
the undercard, and then our main event is going to be Hangman Swerve. I will not watch that.
I'd love to get you. That's when I look forward to the wreckage right after that because that will truly be a dumpster fire of a wreckage.
Bro,
actually, I won't even be on it.
With all due respect, to Nigel McGuinness.
I know.
This is not anything at Nigel McGuinness. Does anybody in England give a fuck about this guy anymore? He's been out of wrestling for so long. You think Nigel McGuinness has more fans just because he's from England than Bryan Danielson?
Desmond Wolf, vet. Desmond Wolf.
Yeah. You can sell out the Impact Zone, maybe.
Oh man, you're right. Look, as entertaining as he is on commentary, right? And he probably overdoes it, to be honest, because he does. Yeah, I couldn't give a fuck. Nigel McGuinness was 20 years ago, man. More. Like, really? Right. I mean, he got hepatitis. That's forced him to retire. And the rest is history. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't care.
I know
it was a Russo thing.
But unlike Vince Russo, I actually know who wrestlers are, and I actually have a finger on the pulse of what fans think. So when I say it, it means something. I'm just like,
careful.
And for Chris Winland saying John Cena put Theory over in his final match, it wasn't his final match.
It wasn't. No, exactly. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Come on, Chris.
Yeah, and he's just upset that Pretty Deadly still isn't the tag team champions, and Austin Theory got to be.
Dude,
so I understand him there. I'm with him there. I'm with you there, Chris. I definitely get that. So yeah. No, dude. I like Nigel McGuinness. I wish that he could have like his one more match and everything like that, but yeah, I'm sorry.
He's in shape.
It's just not.
He's in shape, vet. He's actually pretty in shape. So, look, there's no secret. He wants that match. He wants that as their last match. He's definitely
going into business. If he's not being told to do it, he's going into business for himself because he's running down Danielson every chance he gets.
Every chance he gets, dude. So he's building to it. You know. So what Todd said, I'm telling you, dude. Don't put it past what Todd said. That is due. I don't know, man. These can go 3 different ways. But I'm just not confident, vet. I'm not as confident as you are, put it that way.
I have to take a stand.
Oh, I hope you're right, dude, for all our sake.
We cannot make... Because that's the thing, like... You can't... yeah, you know what? Do whatever you want. Because we don't have to worry about that. We got a great match coming up. It's Claudio Castagnoli versus... Versus, come on, Jimmy.
Oh, yes. What was it? What's his name again? Wait. I know this. Not like Mortis. It's closer. I forgot. It's like Mortis, but it's not Mortis. What is it again?
Mortos.
Oh, that's
the
it.
Beast
Mortos. The Beast Mortos. I'll say one thing. He looks more of a Mortos, whatever that is, now than he did the last time I saw him. Because last time he looked like his old gimmick.
Is your opinion changed now?
No.
Oh.
This is, exactly what like Aaron Ben Shlomo said. Yeah. And
what?
yes,
you fell asleep to
Taurus, whatever you want to call him. Yes, that is him revamped. Exactly. Taurus.
Black
He's
Taurus.
Mortos. Is he Greek by his name Mortos?
No, but it sounds cool if you're doing... Well, I mean, if you're doing a Minotaur gimmick, that's pretty Greek, right?
Well, yeah, it is Greek. The gimmick, the Minotaur gimmick. Mortos. Sounds like Mortodelos.
Yeah. Is that like a beer?
Yeah, I prefer Black Taurus also, Todd. But you know.
Well, whatever it is. They have a match. It goes for a while. Did you notice Claudio? What was up with this? He did like they were doing a back and forth punches, and then Claudio did this weird little shimmy. Like, what the fuck is he doing? Since when does Claudio do a shimmy?
I guess since Collision this past week. I have no idea, bro.
He's added the shimmy match to his arsenal.
Shimmy, whoa, shimmy, yeah. That's all I know. But I'll say one thing. I want to point out again to Mr. Desmond Wolf and Shivani. They were asking each other about how many languages Castagnoli can speak, right? Get this. They were both wrong. Because...
Wait, I thought it was 5.
Did they name 5? They didn't.
Well, no, I'm saying I thought that's the languages he speaks. I thought he speaks 5 languages.
They forgot one more. They mentioned all the other languages that he spoke, but he also speaks Italian. They didn't mention that, so there you go.
Well, he does have an Italian name.
I know. That should have been one of the first ones, right? If people don't know this, Switzerland has got many, many Italians in Switzerland. So yeah, they forgot Italian, but even though his last name is Costagnoli, go figure, right?
Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah. So it's funny. Got to add new things to your arsenal, Todd Brantley says, which is funny because he ended up winning with his old favorite signature move that we all associate with Claudio Castagnoli, the clothesline. You know, he's used that finish for so many years where he just runs off the ropes and clotheslines a guy. Everybody knows that's his finish. It's always been his finish, right? So
the Lariato.
He should think about adding a new finisher, you know, but instead he went with his old favorite, the clothesline. What the fuck?
God, man. I was zoning out by this point. I've done well to pay attention to most of this show. This match, yeah.
That's good. That's good. Like, because right about here's where I pick back up. So now it's like you're handing the baton to me, and I'll pay attention.
There we go. I'm passing. It's a relay race right now, so yeah, I'm definitely passing the baton straight to you now, Vet. But I did pay attention after this, though. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a plus. Yeah. So, all right, let's move on here. Lexi is with Fatty Magic, and he's trying to be serious because he got his ass kicked by MJF also. And he said in his promo, like, no joke. He said, Daniel Garcia's gonna get his on you. It may be 6 months from now. It could be a year. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. Daniel Garcia's gonna wait a year to get his revenge on MJF? What are you talking about? It's just, you actually said that on television, bro. You say it might be 6 months, it might be a year. Might it? Might it?
And he tried being dead set serious too, like we're supposed to care now.
Right. And he said at the end he's like, it's gonna be Red Death. Like, oh,
what does that mean?
Not the Red Death persona from Daniel Garcia. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, that's what it means. There no more dancing clown?
Yeah.
What was Red Death? But what does that even mean for Daniel Garcia? Really? It's a serious question. What is a Red Death? Is it Red Death? Is he deaf? I mean, was he deaf?
What is it? Scarlet Fever? I don't know.
He could be. I mean,
yeah. Well, it's something he called himself a couple years ago or whatever, or maybe on the other indies before he was on AEW. But like,
he was definitely
this is not exactly Mankind saying he's bringing Cactus Jack back to fight Triple H, is it? It's not quite that level. It's not quite to that level of persona reveals, right?
He's Red Death.
Red Death. Yeah. You got to say it the Daddy Magic.
Hey, where's the Red Death, huh?
Yeah.
I'm trying to do that. It's probably bad, but still.
That weird Canadian Chicagoan accent that he has.
Yeah. And you can throw a little bit of New York into it as well.
I'm trying to be serious here, Jimmy.
He sounds like Kermit the Frog, really, when you think about it.
He does, doesn't he? A little bit from Chicago?
He does. He's actually Kermit from Chicago, really? Like, who knows? Where is he from? But yeah,
Chicago,
definitely.
Alberta, Canada. I don't know. Whatever.
Or Montreal, Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is there was a little vignette or something where somebody leaped into a portal of some kind.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And apparently, I've got some inside scoop. Sammy Guevara is trending #1 on Twitter right now. Well, was before we started the show. Everyone claims it is going to be Sammy Guevara and his new futuristic gimmick.
So he's Axiom now?
Yeah. Well, they're both Spanish. So, yeah.
Spanish God?
Instead of Axiom.
Spanish God? Guy from Spain? Same thing?
Yeah. He's the Spanish God. Instead of Axiom, it's Axion with an N. Ah, see? How creative am I?
I love it.
Come on. Or could it be, throw it right out there. And this is a long shot. It's not going to be it. I'm just doing it for the shits and giggles of me saying this. Could it be Ricochet?
Well, I might be inclined to wonder if it would be Ricochet, except they actually show a guy running into a portal, and that sure as shit wasn't Ricochet. That was some
Yeah, but
guy.
that didn't. But did that look like Guevara? Also, it didn't to me.
More so like him than Ricochet. First of all, he had a
True.
haircut that involves hair. Um, so yeah, like
Could be
I don't
Marco's stunt for you know.
not
I
that
love if it
it
was. I
wasn't
hope
that.
it is.
Yeah,
Marco stunt.
yeah. The guy kind of like you don't ever get a good look at him because he's running towards the portal, so you see him from the back,
True.
but he looks like a white guy, or it could be
A
Sammy because
small white
Sammy's pretty
guy though.
pale. Yeah, so it didn't look like Ricochet though, that's for sure.
No, it didn't. But could we like? Could it? Does it have to be the wrestler though? Whoever this person is.
Katsuyori Shibata,
It could
the
be.
wrestler,
I mean, he talks ahead of time with the phone with
Randy
an
the
app,
Ram
so
Robinson.
it could be. He could it be the Blue Blazer coming back?
Oh come on, Jimmy, that's too soon. Too soon.
Too soon. I'm sorry.
Uh, yeah,
It's only
we're
been
having the
like how
Blue
many
Blazer
years?
Memorial Cup going on right now.
Oh, we are
Um,
too. Okay, the
yeah,
Black Blazer.
yeah, sure. Then it could. Labra said look like Aerostar. Yeah, the guy that came back out of the portal looked a little bit like Aerostar. If
Wait, there
anybody
was a guy that
remembers him.
came out of the portal?
Yeah, for a brief, like a one frame flash, you could see a guy in
I
a mask.
Oh, so he will. I see. I didn't see that. So
It's
this
like
guy
it's
was.
like the guy went through the portal, and then you see the flash of like a guy facing the camera. But he had like a mask and maybe some shoulder pads and some gimmicks.
Oh, that changes things. So he's definitely Axion then.
Yeah, he's 100% Axiom. Yeah,
So that there we
but
go.
not.
That's
But just
but
not.
not.
Yeah, it's him, but
But
not him.
I guess the Spanish Godfather of the future is what we're gonna call him. Don't be
Could be.
surprised if that's the name.
Could be. Well, we're very excited to see who this person is. Uh, and
Well,
then we're very excited to see a Serena Deeb promo. Just talking about Riho. Let's run it back. She says the promo was really good.
it
I
was.
liked how natural and casual she sounded in this. It's one of her better promos, but you know, unfortunately, there's not that much to it. It's just a promo right here, right? But they keep the show moving, and then that transitions into Riho versus Lady Frost.
Now, this match, these two just do not gel at all,
What does Lady
dude.
Frost gel with?
Are you saying what I think you're saying, Ben? I don't want to say
I'm
nothing.
asking a question
For
more so
personal
than saying
reasons,
anything.
I can't be too like
Right.
objective. You know what I mean? I know what you're saying, and that thought crossed my mind. Honestly, I'm thinking, do we fucking talk too much hype about her when really she's only been in the business for 6 years, right? Really, only 6 years. She's still kind of green, dude. She
She's no
thinks before
Tiffany
she does her
Stratton.
moves. No, fuck no. No, but honestly, she's not though. I think Tiffany's ahead of her even, and she's been less in the business, compared to Lady Frost. Let's be honest. Am I wrong? And I don't want to say this. I've kept it to myself because I try not to. But there's a trend building with Lady Frost. But apparently Riho nearly killed her though in this
Oh,
match.
yeah. How did
I
that
missed
happen?
it. I have no idea. Someone in the chat brought this up earlier.
Hmm.
I don't know what. I must have missed it, so I don't know what happened. But apparently, she botched a move of sorts. Whoever said it in the chat, can they say it again? Because this was towards the start of the show. Whoever said it, and I can't be bothered going through the whole chat just to find it. But someone did say it.
Aaron says she's way too tan for something supposed to be frozen. We explained that. We explained how like the sun reflects off the ice crystals and the you can actually get a wicked sunburn on a snowy day because the way
Yeah,
it's like a
man.
reflection.
It's the frost that it melts. And let's
Right.
be honest, frost is pretty dirty water, man. It wouldn't be, wherever that water came from was kind of dirty. That's how she got a tan.
Mm-hmm.
It melted into her. Canada Spaceman says, apparently, though, Riho suplex Lady Frost on her neck. I missed it. So,
Well, she hit her with the dragon suplex right before the finish. Maybe that
right.
was it. That's the only thing I
Didn't
saw
look
that
too
was
bad,
like that.
though.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to go back and look. But I mean, she got up for the next thing, which was like another weird, like she beat her with like a flippy pin deal. I don't even know how to call this move. Um, Maybe Nigel McGuinness knew what it was. Tony was confused. I don't
Oh well.
I don't know, but yeah, it was basically it's kind of like what's Kofi's move that's not Trouble in Paradise? The SOS. It's kind of like
Yeah, the
that, like
SOS, the SOS.
a
Yeah,
modified SOS. Was that so she hits her with the dragon suplex and then picks her up for an SOS. So like
and that's
that was the end of the match. If Lady Frost got hurt, there really wasn't much left of the match afterwards, so hopefully she's okay.
Well, the thing about Frost, she thinks too much before she does her moves all the time, and it shows. I hate when you see someone like, you could tell in their mind they're like 1, 2, 3, and then move. You know what I mean? Type of thing. That's what she kind of does. I don't know if you've noticed
Is that
that.
a gymnastics thing?
Yeah, well, she's very gymnastically. I mean, funny enough. So yeah,
I'm asking. I don't know. I've never been.
I don't know either. So don't quote me, but it might be.
We'll have to
Because
ask future Mount Rushmore of WWE Tiffany Stratton
Tiffy?
how that goes over.
Well, it's going to be many years from now where we will see that, if that's even possible. Well, you know what? Give it another 3 years, Fred. You'll see her true. Hey, put it this way: Tiffy is more talented right now than Frost. I don't want to like destroy Frost. She's good enough, but she's still very green. She looks great though. Absolutely looks great, in shape. But she thinks too much before her every move, and it just comes across as like spot after spot because of that. You know the wrestlers that are real green, they're not fluid. Like, you know what I mean? You can see how you know when they're like doing spot after spot. Whereas the real good wrestlers, it's that smooth in transition that you can still see the spot, but like it's smooth. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't really bother you. You know what I'm saying?
What you're saying is you need to have so much repetition and muscle memory that it becomes second nature and you don't have to think about moving.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, sorry, that was a long-winded way. I don't know why I went Jeff and went long-winded, but yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Well,
thank you.
I mean, that only comes with time. So she just got to have even more matches. But she's on her way. Anyway, yeah, Riho over. And then Lexi is with Shane Taylor Promotions and Top Action. And they're, for some reason, getting into it with each other, but then nothing happens.
I missed this. So. I know shit. I went for a piss. I didn't even know that was...
Yep. They got a little hostile with each other verbally, but then, everything, it didn't come to blows this time. So maybe a shove.
So we're going to get a feud between Shane Taylor Promotions?
Man, we've got a stacked trios division, Jimmy. Let me tell you, like, there's so many, like, but
still do nothing with it though. All these trios, but nothing's happening.
We're doing something. We're doing something here. We'll get to that. Cause guess what? Cause guess who's next? Okay, next is, well, this is actually from Rampage, but they took Joe's promo that he cut at Rampage and they re-edited some footage into it. But basically his promo was about how Chris Jericho, how much faith does he have in everybody will be able to stop Joe from killing him or whatever. That was his point. He said it in a longer way that he told a story with this promo. I don't have time for all that. I'm just saying that's the Cliff's Notes versions of it. He's basically saying he doesn't think Chris Jericho's got enough people to have his back to stop Samoa Joe once he gets his hands on Chris Jericho. So that's what he's saying. But that's what we're talking about. We're talking about two trios teams, the Learning Tree, right? With Jericho, Big Bill, and Big Business Bounty Hunter, Bad Apple, Brian Bakeith. And
I love that.
And then you got you got Joe Hook and Shibata. That's another trio. So that's two more teams in the trios division right there.
So are we getting like a New Japan-esque kind of deal here where everyone has to be in a faction? Even better. Because there's not like 10 million of them. It's just
everyone has to be
trios.
in a trio.
They're all trios. Are we setting up for some sort of new
pay-per-view? If you have 3
pay-per-view?
people and you want to add a new member, you got to kick somebody out.
I mean, how do you have all these trios and nothing's going on with the championships? Like, there's no real...
Well, because... Oh,
Okay.
did you want more than that? Okay, because
I mean, shit.
because
Please.
right now the holders of the championships are locked up in our main event here, Jimmy, which we're now at.
Oh, but that's not a trios match, isn't it?
It's not a trios match.
Oh.
Luckily, we actually get a one-on-one match for our
I
main
know.
event here, and it's an
I'm
Owen Hart
grateful.
tournament match, and it's
Absolutely.
a Jay White match. Main event, Jay White, Jay Mignon, for the a la carte crowd.
Jay Mignon.
Yes. It's all those things. However, the Bang Bang Gang has all those belts of all the trios. So, and I'll tell you how this will eventually become yet another trios issue, right? So obviously we got this match, and
It still leads back to trios. You're right.
it still leads back to it. All right, so right off the bat, the Bang Bang Gang all get ejected on the orders of the Bucks, so they all have to leave. So now it's just Jay and Hangman by themselves, right? And they start having the match, and it's pretty fucking stiff. I mean,
Yeah.
Hangman was pretty stiff. Jay White's usually not that stiff, but Hangman was beating the shit out of him for some reason. There was one spot where like he fell on top of Jay with a forearm, and he fucking potatoed him across the jaw, and I could hear it. It's like smack, and I was like, ugh.
But why though? What's his problem, dude?
Because his new unhinged Hangman character, his dark Hangman, has to be vicious. So he's actually out there potatoing people because he doesn't know how to fucking work or whatever. I don't know. But the point is, he's really trying to be aggressive here and show that he's dark Hangman. And then so Jay just does what he always does, which is sell and like flop around and just kind of crawl to corners and try to pull himself up and all this stuff. So he really tries to get the other guy over. And then there's a spot where like Hangman clotheslines him over the guardrail outside and flips over with him. And somehow this idiot hardways himself on the guardrail and just comes up bleeding a gusher, as Jim Cornette would say.
Was that hard way, you think? Because it looked like it. I didn't see no blade spot.
Yeah, he 100% hardweight himself on the rail. Never seen that before.
What a dickhead.
You can't see it because the camera's on one side of the rail. So there must have been like maybe like a little jagged piece of, maybe it's the welding, or he must have caught the top of his head on something on the other side. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. Zane says, rescind that. Look, for the 50th time, Zane, I don't know what you're talking about. You have to actually make a reference to whatever you're talking about because you're usually behind half the time anyway. So I don't know what to rescind.
Yeah, I know, Zane, you confuse us sometimes, but
right. But anyway, he busts himself open, so he bled the rest of the match, and I'm just like, well, now Jay White has to take advantage of this, and he kind of did a little bit later, but he mostly kind of just stuck to the script. I'm like, if I see a guy bleeding from the head and I'm on offense, I'm not gonna do dragon screw leg whips. I'm gonna like go after the head a little bit more, right?
I thought you would have drank it. Isn't that the logical thing to do?
Obviously, like I mean, if you're gonna main event all in, that's what you got to do. You got to drink the blood.
Yuck. Anyway, dark horse.
Dark. Maybe that's what I was supposed to rescind. He doesn't deserve the dark label. I agree. I don't like calling him that, but
yeah, okay, we'll go with.
But nobody else is on this show for me to say it. There's,
Dork Hangman.
Oh yeah, I said he was trying. In fairness to me.
True. He's not as vicious as Zane.
I said he was attempting. I meant that's what he was trying to do. And in trying to be vicious in a working way, he fucking potatoed Jay White in the face. Because this guy's a fucking idiot. He couldn't manage a target or whatever else. So yeah.
This guy continues to expose himself every time, bro. Like these days.
Right.
I feel.
And we all got our hearts broken because he beat Jeff Jarrett on Wednesday, right?
And people were pissed, dude. Even wrestlers were angry at that. Like particularly Bubba Ray and shit.
Well, it's their fault because they let Jeff Jarrett cut that promo. If they hadn't let him cut that promo, we wouldn't be saying it.
I know, but see, anyway, I'm not going to bother because again,
we
like Todd would say,
we already know. If you're going to do that promo, you you got to win the thing, but you're not going to have Jeff Jarrett main event All In. So, I get it.
But it was a feel-good story, man. It made me want to get
We
behind.
felt good for 1 minute, and then Hangman came and
Literally.
Hangmaned it up. So
He horsed it.
but yeah. So anyway, the match was what it was. And speaking of Jeff Jarrett, there was a point where Hangman actually took his belt off and was going to whip Jay White like a dog. It's like, how many times have you seen Jay White in this position? And then Jeff Jarrett comes out and stops him. This is after the ref took a bump, by the way. So there's a ref bump.
Yes.
Which you knew there would be at some point. And then Jeff runs down, takes the belt away from Hangman. Another referee runs down, tells Jeff, hey, get the hell out of here. Then Christian spears Jay White while the referee's putting out Jeff Jarrett. Then Hangman hits the buckshot lariat, 1, 2, 3. So they screwed Jay once again. No clean victory on Jay White. They further the Hangman story. He's getting a little bit closer. Jeff Jarrett now, he's got a little more, part of the story. But the main thing that we're talking about here is the patriarchy is now, they said they were going after the Bullet Club Gold, and this is a trios match, and this is how we're going to settle this. So once again, it's the age of trios, Jimmy.
At least it's building to a championship match, right? I don't know how these the patriarchy is your number one contenders. I don't know how that works, but it doesn't matter. I don't have to know how that works because I guess they are number one contenders. What I want to know is, first of all, this match was totally overbooked. The finish was overbooked, dude. Bad.
No, it wasn't.
For me.
No, it wasn't. The finish was perfect.
Oh, okay. Perfect. With a purr in it. Like, that's how perfect it was. But also, is Jay White now a babyface? So am I assuming? What's going on, bro? It's a serious question. Call me a dummy. I don't know, but I need to know. Like, what's going on, bro? Who's the babyface? Who's the heel? I'm not supposed to care anymore. There's no such thing as heels and like, what's going on, bro? I'm confused. Okay, so they're two heels now. You sure?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not that hard.
It's not
that hard. No.
Okay.
You're
know,
a
Todd.
heel because of what you do. Not because not because of how they book it or what the fans think. You're a heel. Jay White's a heel. Why wouldn't he be? If the Bullet Club had not been ejected from ringside, they would have cheated.
That's true. You're right.
So why is he a babyface just because he gets screwed over? If anything, he deserves to get screwed over for all the times he screwed other people in his career. Jay White's almost never won a match clean. So, why would he be a babyface now just because? You don't turn because of one booking decision. And as for Aaron asking why a heel spears another heel, because contrary to traditional wrestling belief, every heel doesn't have to be friends with each other.
No, and I'm cool with that, right? But again, it's just the booking of this shit. Like, Jay White is going to get a little bit of sympathy here now. Like, you know what I mean? Because of what happened. You watch, he's going to get more cheered, which is fine. He gets cheered anyway as a heel. So that's cool. But, like, I don't know, bro. I just don't know. Like, how many baby faces have they got in AEW when you really think about it? You got Will Ospreay. Yes, he's your number one baby face, I think, right? You'd say in AEW right now.
Yeah.
Right. And that's still, I'm not even 100% certain if that, but other than him, Swerve is, I don't know what the fuck. 1 week he's a heel again now, right? Danielson's the same thing, heel 1 week, face the next.
Well, is he? But wait, is he a heel? I mean, after
I don't know.
He beat Will Ospreay and gave him a kiss.
I don't know, bro.
Gave him a nice little kiss.
What's going on, bro?
Does a heel kiss Will Ospreay?
Maybe in 2024 a heel does kiss Will Ospreay. I don't know anymore, Vet. I just don't know. The thing I've noticed is not enough baby faces in his company, though. There's so many heels, not enough baby faces. Ospreay is your clear number one. Who's your number two, though, really, deep down? That's, you can have an argument here about who's your number 2 at this point.
Well, I don't care to have the argument myself. I'm quite done with it. The point is, Hangman goes on to face Bryan Danielson.
And that finish,
and which one of these two guys is going to main event All In? Because it's one of them.
I'm intrigued because of the bullshit that we possibly could get here, man. That's the only thing that makes me want to watch this match, just to see if they do what I think they might. Just to see you get so pissed. I want to see you really pissed to the point where if they do what I think they might do, I swear to God, dude, I'm going to be on this show. I'm going to take myself out of it, and I want you to go on the craziest rant about it if it happens. That's the only thing I look forward to. Could we get that from the vet? I hope we do.
Well, I can psych myself up for it, I guess. But
dude, I want you to do it. You have to do it. If that happens, you got to do a Jim Cornette of the 90s when he was part of WWE and he shit on wrestling.
I would just feel more defeated. Like, because if I was to get passionate and angry, like that would mean I'd have to give a shit. And I don't. But I'm just saying, like, even no matter what anybody thinks, they cannot do that. It's not a good. That's not a good match to main event a show that you're trying to sell tickets for. I would think that they would want to sell more tickets than they did last time. I would think.
How is the ticket sales? I haven't heard squat, bro, about this year's ticket sales, which to me suggests it's not selling that well.
I think they sold a lot, like really early on the announcement.
Yeah, I think you're right. I heard that
then
too.
Again, like it's uphill battle to try to do it 2 years in a row because many people have gone the first time and they already got that experience, so they don't need to do it again. Of course, you're going to have some repeat business, but like if people aren't sure, then how do you get them in there? Do you get them in there by saying, "Hey, Bryan Danielson is challenging for the world title in his retirement match," or do you say, "Hey, you want to see that match you've already seen 4 times?" Which one do you think is going to get people that are on the fence? I'm just asking you what you think.
Well, obviously, like, you want to have Danielson get the win.
Oh, well,
you
maybe
think,
a lot of
right?
English people think like you, or maybe a lot of other people would be willing to travel if they knew. They'll come from all over the world if they knew, oh, this is Danielson's last match. Will he win the title?
But though, there's still a but. The thing is, this is AEW's fan base. Technically, they think differently, dude. It's just, it is what it is. Like, I don't know. But Robert Christensen says, in Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling cartoon, all the heels were friends with each other. That's a good point. They were. Mm-hmm. Great cartoon. I used to love that as a kid.
If only we should always just book all the wrestling, just like Rock and Wrestling. We'd be in a much
That's Wrestling 101 right there, man.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But that was Collision. And as good as it looked on paper, Vet, was it truly that good?
Well, it
wasn't as good as last week.
Well, on the one hand, you had Mark Briscoe in a match with a promo.
True.
You had a MJF promo, which even though, I mean, he's done better promos, but, he's still entertaining, I guess, if you like that. We had, the Beast Mortons. Is he?
Mortos.
Serena Deeb promo. And we got a Jay White main event. So, like, those are all good things. But at the same time, we did get a Marco Stunt versus Jack Perry match, which is going to really drag the grade down.
I'm thinking that
this match, the formatting was fine. They had a lot of quick segments. I'm going to give it a B-.
Drum roll. B-.
It wanted to be
an A. It was booked like an A.
With a Jay White main event.
It was definitely on paper booked as an A. Like, it looked like an A show. Definitely, man. It really did. But B-. I'm going to have to go C+. I know that sounds crazy, man. I want to like it more because of what we had on this card. But I didn't agree with a lot of the finishes and just There's a lot of fuckery in this whole show. Yeah, I'm gonna go C plus, man. Even though on paper it looked better than last week. Last week's show, I was literally very impressed with it. You know what I mean? So I felt, but you know what? I think we're on the right path though, Vet, because at least it seems like they're making a point to make Collision seem stronger now. It feels like
right.
the last couple of weeks.
Back to Dynamite at least two major times, but at the same and the format is better than it has been. But the problem is you got the formats down, but now we need better talent, or more consistently features the same talent.
That's the thing. Yeah. Are we going to get that?
I mean, some weeks we are and some weeks we aren't. I guess it's just going to be a week by week basis, but it's just, even if they don't have anybody on that I like to see, if they keep the show moving, then that's still a step in the right direction.
All right. You know what? Because we said that and they're making a step in the right direction, which they truly seem like they are. C plus is probably pretty harsh. I'll say B minus.
Oh, I thought you gave it a C minus. You gave it a C plus? Okay.
No, I gave it a C plus initially, but now that I think about it, only because they're trying.
Okay, so they're trying gets them that extra little point.
Just a little bit. Only because of what we just said, it made me think about it, and I thought, you know what? It did tie into Dynamite. Like that
for a good 3, 4, 5 weeks now. They've been doing like quick promo, quick package, match, like short match, like get over match, decent match. You know, they've got their like they've got their format all set, the template. And then it's who they plug into the spots that causes us to like it more or less, I think. It's just, you know, so more of our menu shows up, we're going to give it a higher grade. Less of our menu shows up. A lot. Yeah, we're going to. So. Todd Brantley says there was a white guy in the crowd wearing a shirt that said "Big, Black, and Jacked." You can't explain the AEW fan base or most wrestling. Hey, Todd, he's supporting Will Hobbs, right? We got to support Will Hobbs.
That is the craziest shit,
man bought a Will Hobbs shirt.
Where is Will Hobbs? Who?
Oh, I don't know. But that guy loves him wherever he is.
Jeez. Oh, and
he can't help it that he was born white. He's just a fan of Will Hobbs.
Yeah. He's for the culture, Todd. Yeah. Come on. You know what I mean? Or you can call him a vulture. But, you know, he's trying. Liz said, and thanks, Liz, for the information, because you always get the info out before any of us do. She says, Wembley set for 51K. Interesting. But 41,000 so far, 415, have been sold. Wow. So they've actually gone lower this time? Because they probably know they're not going to hit.
They'll probably open up as it gets a little bit closer.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting though still, because
but what I hate is when you have a capacity that's bigger and then you set up for smaller and then you say it's a sellout if you sell that many, which is like, no, I think a sellout would be if you actually had the whole stadium open and you sold all those tickets.
Right, exactly.
But
I want to say before we do go, I could have easily given it an A if Jay White had won. If Jay White had won, I swear that would have changed my whole mood going into the show. But unfortunately, I knew he was never going to win that match. Tony's buying mannequins. Sorry. He probably is. He's probably fucking them too, by the way, Gam. Just saying. Not that I judge. Just saying. I mean, you never know. But anyway, that was your collision for the week. And we sift through the wreckage. But in saying that, Vet, I think we should take it home, man, and tell them what you're doing and where they can find you.
Well, I do what I do on the Hami Media Group, and you can find me at Opinion Haver on all social media platforms. And then on the show end of things, you can catch me on Monday nights at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern for Impact Attack with Brandon. If you want to catch me on Wednesdays at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern with Big Ray for the Next Level Wrestling review, you can do that as well. You already know about the wreckage. Let's see, we got What else do we got? We got Wrestling with Rip Rogers every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, except when they're not. Like, for example, this time they were 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, randomly.
Really?
And yeah, so that was a little different this past week, but they'll be. I think they'll be back to their regular time, or hopefully. And then if you want to check out the Stevie Richards Show, we got 2 episodes out right now. Really, just a basic. It's kind of like what we're doing now, Jimmy, where you got a guy named James who talks about stuff in the news, and then Stevie gives us thoughts about it and what's going on, and then he uses the whiteboard to break down certain segments and stuff like that. So and
then James gives his thoughts.
Yeah, and we're starting fresh with a new channel that doesn't have any strikes on it, so he could actually, do some of this stuff. Because they never, like, when there's a mark, they never shut down that channel. So like, it's like James is like the shield now. He's like protecting. He's protecting Stevie from Don Stevens and like all those other people. Like, yeah, exactly. So they would never dare to take somebody that hasn't been in the wrestling business to shut their channel down. So so check out the Stevie Richards Show. It's available in podcast form too, but then you'll miss out on his his visual, his telestrating. So you definitely want to check out the YouTube version, at least for that. Go ahead, Jimmy.
I was going to say, Vic, before you made me think about something similar when if we were to do an actual watch along and break down Collision, even if it takes 5 hours, I think you with that marker, whatever you want to call it, the invisible marker, whatever the fuck it is, pointing out and pausing the show right there where we discuss shit would be actually a great show. But I heard it costs a lot of money to get that board and the marker, the screen with the marker. Should ask Stevie, actually. I might actually text him and say, just out of curiosity, not that we're going to do what you do, but how much did that even cost him? You know what I mean? It probably would have been quite a bit. If he paid for it, he gets a lot of shit for free, just quietly.
Right. Well, anyway, that show's free, so check it out and support Stevie and everything else. Same, fitness, still got the reviews, all that other stuff. And definitely check out JTG's new YouTube channel. He's got videos with, things about like 5 things that'll get you heat in WWE and his biggest regret and meeting Vince McMahon for the first time. He's got videos, a little short, 5-minute, 6-minute videos on all that stuff. So go give him a look if you like. And that's it for me. What about you, Jimmy?
I'm just laughing at Wolf's thing that he said in the chat. Jimmy still one from a school. That's a good idea, actually. Unfortunately, I'm not at school
anymore. I don't know
anymore.
What schools have these. It's not actually a whiteboard like with dry erase markers.
No, it's on a whiteboard. It's like back in the day. Well, actually, Pat McAfee does it right now. If you watch sometimes on Raw or a PLE, he will get that. Like what friggin' I think it was a Bobby the Brain Heenan used to do that too. The brain scan, whatever it was called. If you remember back in the day, and you draw and you see it on the screen, that's basically what Stevie's doing. And G-Ball, we were meant to do a show a long time ago. He's a busy guy, man. He does a lot of shit. He says, yes, he wants to jump on it all the time. But like I said, man, it's hard to actually get him on here because he does do a lot of shows. Not just that, but he also has the stuff right here on channelattitude.com where he reviews SmackDown and Raw every week with Vince and the boss man himself, the Ayatollah in Bin Hamin, just quietly. So yeah, one day when he's not doing so much, but right now he's just, I don't want to get him too, busy when he's already busy. Excuse me. In saying that, but what I am doing is, like you said, the wreckage every week right here on channelattitude.com and on the Hamin Media Group YouTube page. Also, the Smack Attack every week, where I thought last week it wasn't going to happen just 2 days ago, but it did on the last second. John was in. I was ready to start with Jeff. I thought John wasn't going to show up, but on the 11th hour, he showed up. So there's that every week. And next week, it will be myself and Jeff. And I was mentioning that we were going to do the review show yesterday for Money in the Bank, but like I said, I fell asleep. So possibly look out for that, anytime between now and later on. It just depends if Jeff wants to do it again or not. I might get someone else. Who knows? So look out for that. That's a possibility. I'm not saying 100% because I don't even know yet, but we'll see what happens there. But other than that, if you want to follow me, you can on the Twitter at DJ MassFX and also at the PWC Network. And like and subscribe right here at channelattitude.com, where for $5 not only do you get the realest but the best talk in all of pro wrestling, and also at the pwcnetwork.podbean.com and mediagroup.podbean.com for all our affiliate shows. And that's a wrap from me, Vet. In saying that, I am Jimmy T. That is the Vet, Jamie Williams. And you've been listening and watching the Saturday Night Wreckage right here on channelattitude.com via Media Group. And we're out. Peace.